This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to dark, dingy Djuma. There's been a bit of rain around this morning, so we've got rain covers on, little jackets and jerseys because it's a bit windy and cool, and we are on the search for a leopard at the moment because some of you very kindly let me know that there was a leopard on the dam cam, which is very nice, and also we found the tracks and the poo for that same leopard outside DRC, so that will make life a little bit easier. But anyway, before we get into that, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got Senzo this morning. And like I said just now, some of you let us know about the leopard being on the dam cam. Now, that means that you can all interact with us. So for those of you that have just joined us for the first time, you can do so on #SafariLive on Twitter or at FC on the YouTube chat. And that will be able to connect you to us and we'll be able to kind of talk to you. Now, her tracks go straight down the road here. I need to check if she crosses the dam wall or just continues straight on at this stage. I don't see any sign of a leopard in front of me, but if this is who I think it is, it's going to be a tricky kind of track because Tundi at the best of times can be quite hard. It's definitely a track for a female leopard, it's not a track for a male, so I'm pretty sure she went straight here and probably has gone down into the Mulwati as she typically does, but her tracks are still on the road for now, so let's try and see if we can find. I can hear some guys talking on the radio, but I have no idea what they're talking about. Also, I can hear Taylor talking in my ear, which means something has gone horribly wrong because she's talking to the tech team. So if she's talking to tech team, it means that all of us are on the wrong channels at this stage, but we'll sort that out just now. That's not a problem. Right, now Tundi often likes to walk along here, and then she likes to duck into this left-hand side towards the Mulwati. There's a little kind of pan down at the bottom here, and then the Mulwati drainage, and she loves to walk around in that section. The tracking side of things this morning is going to be really tricky after the rain, and even the tracks that I saw just back there, where it's normally the easiest, are hard to see. So I'm going to struggle a little bit with kind of seeing her tracks on the road. We're just going to have to keep an eye out as we go. It's still very dark, so if we don't see her with the spotlight, we're not going to see her at all, I'm afraid. But I'm just hoping that she's going to be kind to us and she's going to sit in the open and be on the road somewhere. She's walked on a road pretty much the whole way from what I can see, but I know when she hears the vehicle sometimes she can change direction and start to kind of move into thicker stuff, so we'll just see what we can do. Anyway, I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to see what I can find here. Here's some impalas that are very relaxed, and so in the meantime I'm going to send you across to Taylor so that she can say hello to all of you.
Hello everybody, good morning. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I haven't been using the radio, so I don't know how Tristan is hearing me, and I haven't really said much at all. I'm a quiet Taylor this morning. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Craig, and we're both very confused. Craig, I wonder who Tristan was hearing. Also, I'm not sure. I haven't got a clue, but anyways, I can hear Tristan now, but he's on the game drive radio. I shall be turning his voice down. Right, we were supposed to be out on bushwalk this morning, but then all the clouds came over and it was raining, and it still looks pretty miserable coming from the east. I don't know if we're going to get a super downpour today. Hopefully not, because I'd prefer not to get wet this morning. And then I think if we don't get wet, if that goes as planned, then hopefully we'll also find some lions. I mean, that's what we're going to go for today. So we're going to head all the way down towards Twin Dams, because it sounded like there were a couple of lions. I don't know if it's the entire Nkuhuma Pride, but on Shirley's and Little Gowrie and places like that. So we'll probably head in that direction and just check some of their favorite spots to see if they haven't popped onto Djuma for a little walkabout, and maybe we just catch a glimpse of them as they're, I don't know, doing their thing, the thing that lions like to do all the time. Sleep, walking and hunting and eating and all those types of things. And then that's all. Hey Craig, I don't know, do you have any requests? I'd personally like to see a herd of elephants with lots of babies. Craig asks me every single game drive if we can see a pangolin. They don't exist. They're not real. Craig, get it into your head. It's people. It's this mass conspiracy. Everybody in the world has joined up forces together. They put these fake news all over the internet. Fake footprints. It's not a real animal. Anyways, I'm just joking. Pangolins are indeed real creatures. I just will never see one in my life. The only time I've ever seen a pangolin track was in Sri Lanka going through a monastery. And that's it. That is the extent of my pangolin sightings. And then I get sent pictures all the time and told that there's sightings happening just out of my reach. I just think it's all a little bit strange. I think someone's just plays pranks. So now, I don't know what route Tristan went. Tristan must have also gone down here. Or maybe he went via Wahlberg's. I don't know, so we'll just check again. Although, at least you're lucky Tristan's out, because he'll find all the tracks for you. We'll just drive over them. Also, can you hear that roof is starting with us already? Hey? Craig, we're going to have to think of tighten it at some point. We don't have to do it now, we can do it when we stop. So our roof doesn't like to stay in. It likes to jump out. Every time we go over a small bump, or if we even look at a termite mound or an anthill, it starts pushing out. We have to bolt it really tightly. But we shall do that in a minute. Yes, Janet, it is indeed my last drive for this visit. Enjoy it while it lasts. You've got like 2 hours and a long time to go. 2 hours and 54 minutes to go. Wonderful. So hopefully we get some action. That's why I'm going to be very demanding with the animals today, and I'll be very upset if they don't show themselves, especially those elephants. Anyways, we'll keep searching. We'll start picking up the pace just a little bit now and heading down towards Twin Dams to beat all the other safari vehicles there. Off we go to Tristan, and I'm sure he's quite far ahead of me.
Jeez, Taylor, we're not holding back today with what we're trying to find. Hopefully find a pangolin, though. That's a tall order and tall ask. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing. Well, I'm in a very overgrown two-track that is run in the Mulwati. The tracks for Tundi look like they come down this way, and we heard some alarm calls inside here. So we're just quickly checking to see if I can find her on this particular road. It's still too dark for me to walk in on foot, and so with alarm calls and things like that, we can come and have a little bit of a look and see if we can find her. I know that she can be so elusive, though. Once she gets into here, unless you just get lucky and she's on one of these tracks, you're going to have a tough time finding her. Apparently she didn't stay long at the dam cam either. She just kind of waltzed past, which means that she's probably on a little bit of a mission. The thing is, though, is she went to the toilet. It wasn't a very big toilet time for a leopard, but she did go, and that generally can mean that maybe, just maybe, she's got a kill somewhere, and maybe she's coming around to fetch Klalamba. You never know. I mean, I don't know if those two are even spending any time together anymore. I certainly haven't seen any evidence of it, but I can't believe how overgrown this road is becoming. It's insane. When I went on leave, this was very, very clear and defined track that we could see. Anyway, that's the way things go. Grass grows when it rains, and so I shouldn't be too surprised, should I? Just the length of it, really, that's quite surprising. Now, there's a little mud wallow up here. I doubt that she really needs to come to this mud wallow, given that she's just walked past the dam. But let's have a look quickly. Sharon, I haven't had any recent news on Hosanna. The last news that I know of is when he had the kill on Belozi, which was, what, the day before I arrived back, I think, or 2 days before I arrived back. So careful there, sense. So that's the last that I have. It's been a bit quiet from the guys on the east in terms of whether or not they've seen him. I will ask today, though. I'll send a couple messages out and see what's going on. Kind of, part of me doesn't want to ask because I hate getting the response when they say, yes, so he's here. You know, it's nice that he's all right and he is that side, but it's always sad because, you know, we want to actually see him, our side. So anyway, we'll see. I'll try and find out if I can, if there's any sign of him over the last couple of days. I haven't seen any really recent updates, though, to be honest. Dory, where's the cyclone in relation to South Africa? Pretty much directly east of where we are right now. It's not that far. It's near Madagascar Channel. So between Mozambique and Madagascar, as far as I understand it. And so not very far from us at all. In fact, the Mozambican area is going to get pounded, I think. And often that means that we'll get a little bit of rain too, or a lot of rain. It depends. Sometimes we get flooding if it rains too much. So hopefully we're not going to get flooded. It's as much as it sounds nice to get a lot of rain, when it gets that much rain, it's unpleasant. I can promise you now. Trying to do what we do when it's flooding is really not easy at all, and it makes finding animals almost impossible with the length of the grass and various other things. No sign of Tundi where I thought we would find her, to be honest. Maybe she's cut through already and gone somewhere else, or she might have turned the other way. I just didn't see which way her track went off, but her track definitely left the road. So she might have come this way, she might have gone... There's an Impala, that looks fine. Let's just check the road here to see if she didn't come out this side. No, nothing that I can see here. Okay, well, let's go Vulture's Nest, and then we'll go back round towards Twin Dams Road. Taylor is on Twin Dams Road, so if she goes back towards there, hopefully Taylor will pick her up. Now, it's sad that Taylor's last drive is today. I feel like I've hardly done any drives with Taylor since she's been back, which sucks. Generally, it's a good laugh to do drives with Tannie Taylor. And so here in South Africa, when you're Afrikaans and you're affectionately referring to a lady that is kind of senior to you, you call them a Tannie. And Taylor was telling me last night how she loves to be called Tannie. So we're going to call her Tannie Tete for the rest of this morning's drive, because she loves it so much. Anyway, it's not just Tannie Tete and myself out this morning. There is a certain someone that's going to spoil the tea party in terms of having teas out on drive, and that is Lauren, and she wants to say hello to all of you.
Good morning. What tea party is this I have not been invited to? I need to hear more about this tea party. We do apologise for our lateness. We did have a few little difficulties, shall we say. However, we're out here, we're up and running, so it is all good. My name is Lauren, and on camera today I do have Bungay. And we're just having a little scan around because we feel, well, I feel, there's lions somewhere around here. So you can scan around with us. We could hear them from camp. And I do believe it's the Olololos, because this is the area that they do tend to be found in. But I can't see anything at the minute. So obviously last night we had terrible issues with those evil gremlins, and this morning I had a few hiccups of my own. So please do send your good vibes and good luck my way, because I really want to have a great bumble this morning, and you will never believe what happened to me last night. So we sleep in tents here, and they're lovely tents. They're not your average camping tents. They're very, very strong and comfortable tents. And around midnight, I woke up to something falling into my tent. I don't know what it was. It definitely had 4 legs. My bed is quite close to the side of the tent wall, so it kind of fell into me. And it obviously got all caught up on the ropes of the tent, and it was slightly terrifying. So yeah, that was my night last night. I still have absolutely no idea what it was, and I don't want to think about what it was, but something fell into my tent and obviously tripped over the rope and fell into me. Eesh. Okay, let me just have one look around, because there's another vehicle up there also looking at something. I just don't know what it is they are seeing. I can't see anything. We were looking for the Olololos last night as well, as many of you know. They are around. They are here. We can hear them from camp, and obviously their roars vibrate over such great distances. It feels like they're in our camp, and they're not, but they're very close. So I am convinced they are somewhere around here. And of course, they do have cubs with them. So that would be absolutely wonderful if we could show you the cubs this morning. I'm hesitant to leave just now. Bungay, have you got your spotting eyes on? I need to rely on binoculars, unfortunately. There's definitely something around here. Anyway, apart from trying to locate these lions, I don't have any other plan for this morning. Every time I make a plan, it does not come true. It always falls apart. So this morning will just be a bumble in the Mara. Yes, it's not a lion, but Bungay has found us a small, chirping little bird. I'm actually not sure what kind of bird this is. Can you show us where the lions are, please? I'm sure you know exactly where they are. Well, it looks like I'm not having any luck finding them, and of course the grass is very long here. So if we do have a bunch of flat lions, then it's highly likely that there's a chance we might not even see them. You can hear them, but you can't see them. Oh, the joys. So we may swing by the hyena den, of course, we may not, but we are literally just going on a bumble to see exactly what we can find. Sometimes that is the best way. So whether we just scan around here a little bit longer, we're going to send you back down to South Africa to Miss McCurdy.
Hi everybody. So we're still looking for wonderful animals. Craig and I have been discussing snakes this morning. Doesn't that make your skin crawl? Well, it doesn't make my skin crawl, but for some of you that don't like snakes, it's probably not very nice. We're talking about all the different types of snakes that I was seeing, and then I told Craig about that wonderful sighting of a bronzeback that I had that was super cool. Such a cool little snake. I think I described it last time as a spotted bush snake crossed with a boomslang kind of thing. Not in terms of, it's not venomous, not to us, but really, really cool little snake. So yeah, and then we were hoping that we could see some snakes, and then I told Craig about the time that I watched, I don't know if I told any of you this, it was the most crazy thing. I wish I saw it from the beginning, when they arrived on scene, and as we arrived at this like little watering hole, the next minute I see something launch out of the water, and this long thing, like, you know when kids take a pool noodle and then whack it on the water? That's basically what we saw. Yeah. And it was a crocodile, a mugger crocodile, and it was whipping a big Indian python, rock python around. It was the biggest python I've ever seen in my life too. It was already dead though. I would have loved to have seen that fight to the death, because that snake was enormous. And then it ate some of it, and then it just sort of dragged the rest of the snake around with it. It was very cool. I took some videos. I should probably post them, but I always forget to post stuff like that. I shall do some digging, send you some cool things. So we've gone past Treehouse down. There were lioness tracks, just one set, so I don't know if somebody's just come walking on through. So I thought we'd just very, very quickly just have a look around here, which means we're also going to have to check the hyena den. James, my favorite sighting for my visit back to Wild Earth, I don't know, I've had quite a few. Spending quite a bit of time with Kuchava was really amazing. Then having Tingana saw the other night right next to the car. Sorry you guys didn't get to see it. That was wow, that was cool. It's been a long time since I'd heard a leopard make a noise, so that was nice. And then I think my all-time favorite has to be the mongoose sighting, where we did a little playback where the crested Franklin was chasing the mongoose around. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that sighting. I don't know, I always seem to have really cool ones. Yesterday afternoon we had an amazing time, but the gremlins kept getting us, where we spent like pretty much a whole afternoon with wildebeest, with zebra, impala, and they're all so chilled. They were only not very far away from the vehicle. I see a hyena. We're gonna have we've got the roof on. Stand by, Craig. Sorry, I forgot we have our rain roofs on. Is it Sammy Johnny or Sammy Jane? Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I get this name correct. Is it Sammy? Not just. Oh, there we go. Sammy Jane. I thought it might have been a Sammy Jane. They are indeed hartebeest in South Africa. So if you go up to another reserve called Mapungubwe, if I'm not mistaken, they've got red hartebeest. No, they've got Tesabe, sorry, they've got Tesabe there. But you do get red hartebeest and a type of hartebeest species. Oh, there comes a little one. Especially down in the Eastern Cape, they've sort of, I don't know if they occur there naturally, but they've introduced them. A lot of places in South Africa have added antelope species to their game reserves, some of them not naturally occurring in that area. But as you can see, we're at the hyena den now. And there is a hyena sitting in the distance. And there's a little one, a little hyena. It's just very difficult to park currently because of the roof on the vehicle. So until these little guys kind of reposition, we just have to sit like this. I also have to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I had to sneeze, little one. Don't panic. Come back out. It'll come back out. It's just at the base of the den. It got a little bit of a fright, but I couldn't hold my sneeze in. Look, see here, it comes back out again. No, why are you making that noise? Making a strange noise, that little one. I don't know if you can hear it. No, of course not. It's stopped. Oh, there's two there now, that's why. Okay, Craig, let me try go forward, and then maybe you can shoot out the side. I'll have to do this. Hi, little babe. Oh, here they come. Here comes the terrible two. Hello, little hyenas with your very short legs and your very long necks. So these are Pretty's little cubs, I'm assuming. I was very confused a couple of days ago. I don't know why I thought that June was the one that had two cubs. It isn't. Okay, also Craig would like to go out at infrared now. So we will be going out of infrared. Meow. Hi, little one. Sorry that I sneezed so loudly. I couldn't hold it in anymore. Look at them. Don't you think they look so out of proportion? Yeah, we're talking about you. You've got very short little legs. You haven't grown into them just yet. It'll take them a bit of time. You can see that one is slightly bigger. The one running away now. Also, the colours are starting to get more of its adult colours sooner than the other one. That often happens with hyenas. One will grow a bit quicker. The more dominant hyena will definitely get a bit more milk. And the one will be slightly smaller. I didn't see who the adult was. I just saw the back of the ears. I'm sure you can all help me because you guys, that hyena, we could just have seen the tail and you would have been able to identify it. It still really amazes me how you're able to do that. So I'll wait for you all to let me know which adult is at the den. But the little cubs didn't seem to go up and harass that hyena at all. No, they're going back inside now. It's too cold for them. And it's just chilly. I have a scarf on and everything today. And you don't have much hair on your body. No, go back inside where it's nice and warm. It's too early for you to be out. I think it's really fascinating that we're able to watch these little hyena cubs. And it's pretty amazing the work that everybody's trying to do at the moment and trying to change, you know, what hyenas have been known for as, I suppose, monsters, really. I like the fact that we get to see them when they're so small like this and watch them grow up, because as soon as you see a little hyena cub, there's no ways. You can't think that that thing is a monster. It's like thinking a jumping spider is a monster. You just zoom into its face and you go, oh, it's so precious. Oi, getting bossed straight back in that burrow. I'm not sure who that was. I don't think that was Ribbon. Oh, no. It's not Ribbon. Who is this? Who are you? Who? I can't see if you have a scar or anything on you. Is it Corky? Corky, is that you? No, but I like the white eyebrows that this hyena has. Although I feel like they all kind of have those little white eyebrows. June. Oh, I'm so confused. Please can someone help me? Crystal, I need your help. You said that those were June's cubs. I've been told so much information. There are people in camp who are saying June only has one cub. Actually, I'm not going to say names, but a few people have said to me June has only got one cub, but now I'm confused. Does June legit have two cubs? Because that's what I was told in the beginning. And then I thought I was wrong on the Safari Lives because we only had one cub out, and I don't know. Someone please can you send me a complete breakdown, because now I'm very confused. So these are June's cubs, and then I went... And Pretty has two cubs. I know that Pretty has two cubs, but I didn't know Andia's. Bye, little ones. They're following. Is that June, though? I'm still waiting, Murray, if you can just have a look, because I'm pretty sure the viewers would have answered as to which adult hyena that was. I might just use Twitter. I will tweet if I can get signal. Let me find out. Sometimes you... I mean, and on the interweb now, look at me go. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that information, Mary. Cool, the hyenas have moved off. Thank you for all of you who have said that that was June. That would have helped. I just haven't really spent much time with her at all, but she's disappeared. I wonder where she's taken them now. Where did she go with those little monsters? I'm joking, they're not monsters. I like hyenas, they're so cool. See if they've this side now. It's not going to get entangled. Sorry, Craig, watch the leaves. Okay, we'll see if we can find these little hyenas and see where they've gone to. In the meantime, if we go back to Tristan to see if he's found you all a leopard.
Well, I don't know really what Taylor said there, but anyway, she probably had some snarky comment. This is Taylor, and she generally gives me trouble all the time. Still no luck with any sort of signs for Tanyi, Tlalamba, any of these leopards since we kind of saw the last tracks on Twindam Road. I've checked Nyala Road, I've checked Vulture's Nest, in the kind of directions that they would be heading out, and so no sign of them at this stage. The thing is yesterday, Sydney, when he saw Tlalamba, it was in this area, and so maybe she's on her way to kind of come and fetch Tlalamba. When was the last time the two of them were seen? Would be quite interesting. 3 Red Rovers, I mean, Fleer could potentially, if it was kind of just scanning around, but I mean, it's got to hit exactly where she is, and she's got to be close enough that we can actually see her, which is the problem. The grass is so long and the bush so thick that if she's 30 meters back, even the Fleer is going to struggle to see her. And I remember one time with Hosana, we did a rehearsal, and he was in fact right where we are now. And we followed him. It might have even been a TV show, actually. I can't remember. One of the two. But we followed him through, and we had him on the Fleer, and he went behind a bush and gone and disappeared. And that was in winter. So you can imagine now in summer, sometimes even the Fleer struggles to pick them up if there's too much vegetation in the way. And so in an area like this in summer, it's going to be very, very tricky to be able to find her. But now it's getting light enough that I can actually see what's going on. Hopefully that's going to mean that we'll be able to find her. Like I say, I'm not sure if her and Tlalamba are even, spending time together anymore. I'm intrigued to know when the last sighting of when the last sighting was of the two of them actually spending any time together, and whether or not she will actually fetch Tlalamba if she did have a kill. Be interesting. Anyway, we're going to keep scratching, we're going to keep looking. In the meantime, though, Lauren has actually been successful, and she's managed to find an elephant.
yes, I do have a beautiful elephant. It's actually been a while, I think, since I've stopped and admired an elephant on a drive. And we've just got to the bottom of our hill. And no lions, I'm afraid, so we thought we would stop and appreciate this beautiful lone elephant. It still amazes me that just as you're driving around, you see these just huge mounds of grey that are elephants just scattered all over the place. Look at it. Most likely a lone bull here. Just, oh, there's some in the background as well. Look at that. Just feeding away, using his trunk to tear up all the grass. Beautiful. And the sun is just starting to come up now, so it's that beautiful golden morning light, which is my favourite time of day. I love it when you watch an elephant eat, and obviously having its breakfast here, although to be honest, they just eat all the time. I do wish I had the digestive system of an elephant. Sarah's saying woohoo elephants, yay. I feel the same. I just realised it has been a few days since I've actually stopped for an elephant because there's been so many other things going on. So it's important we stop and make time for these beautiful, majestic creatures. And I do think they have a slightly, this is just my personal feeling, a slightly easier life up here in Namara due to the abundance of grass than they do down in the Kruger, for example. It does get a little bit trickier for them seasonally. So I do feel that the elephants have a slightly easier, relaxed life up here in the Mara than they do in Juma, where they do have to change their movements and their patterns depending on the season. That is just my personal feeling. But obviously the abundance of grass here and the environment and the topography is completely different. I do think it is slightly easier for them up here in Deer. Paula's saying something about the grass, but I didn't quite get that, so Murray will repeat it for me, and then I shall figure out exactly what it is you're trying to say. I do apologise. Oh, the grass is so golden. Yes, it is shining golden in this beautiful, beautiful golden light. I do think it is rather green, but just because that sun is giving us that golden glow, look, it's reflecting off the elephant. How beautiful is that? You can see that golden light just reflecting off the side of the elephant there. It's the golden hour and it's perfect for photography right now. Velka's saying, are the elephants in Namara larger than in Juma? I actually get asked this question quite a lot, and I personally don't see it. And again, this is just my personal opinion. There seems to be belief, I'm not sure it's backed up by any evidence, that the elephants are larger than the ones in Juma, but I really don't see a difference. I see a slight difference in behaviours, and obviously, as I've mentioned many times before, their feeding habits is completely different due to the environment around them. The elephants in Namara are said to live longer because their teeth don't wear down as quickly, so those are a few differences, but I personally don't see any difference in size. I really don't. They are still your standard, glorious, magnificent African elephant. Now, I've spent a lot of time in my life with Asian elephants during my, 8 years in Asia, and that is drastically different. I don't believe anyone could ever mistake an Asian elephant and an African elephant. The size difference, the coloration, the end of the trunk, the ears, the shape of the ears, there's so many differences between the two. And of course, the African elephant is much larger. But between Mara and Juma, I really don't see it. I'm not sure if other guides would say differently. It is definitely worth trying to figure out if many people feel differently about them. But I don't see a difference in size. I do see a difference in behaviour. I personally feel that elephants in Juma are a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more on edge, shall we say, than the elephants out here. And again, that could be to the environment that they're in. I'm just going to continue on driving. Because it's a lot more open here. They have a lot more space. That would be my best guess. So I see a difference in the behaviours, but size, no, I don't see it. But great question, and I have been asked that a lot. So it's obviously something that people do think. So Tristan is actually in search of the same thing that I'm in search of today, and that is a leopard. So let's hope this spotted cat luck is on both our sides.
I didn't know Lauren was searching for Tandi, but maybe Tandi, knowing her, she could have walked to the Masai Mara by now. It's very possible. I suspect, though, Lauren is looking more for lions than what I am at this stage. Anyway, still no sign. Like I say, I just redid this Mulwati system just in case we missed her when it was still quite dark, and she just kind of came past, but there's no sign, there's no track that I can see. So what I'm thinking is what might have happened is I might have missed the track going the opposite direction. She might have easily gone towards Ingwe Alley, Wahlberg's Nest. There was one of two ways she was going to go from Twin Dam. She's either going to go to Ingwe Alley and Pangolin track those areas, or she was going to come into the Mulwati. So it was worth sort of coming this way to start with. But I think what we'll do now is try and go back onto Twin Dams Road, try and get to where her last track was that I saw, and then just from there work out exactly the direction that she went. The problem is that it really is a needle in a haystack if they're not on the roads at the moment. In some places in here, the grass is kind of my head height in the vehicle. So you can imagine for a leopard down there, if they're not moving too much and they're just lying down looking at you, the chance of you spotting them is almost zero, even with Senzo on board. It's still not going to be easy. Senzo and I were talking about this 2 days ago, yesterday, the day before, and we were just saying that it's becoming really tricky to actually see anything in terms of distance. You've only got probably about a 10-meter field of view in places into the bush, and then you can't see a thing. The grass just gets too tall to actually see anything, so it's going to be a bit tricky. James, has anyone had any sightings of the skittish female leopard? Not that I know of. Obviously, she was seen with Tingana and that whole mating process. But since then, no. I mean, I suppose it could be her that we're tracking here. It's just that this leopard comes from the west. It's come down via Tele Access, and then between the camp, which is generally a route Tandi can take. It's not to say that it is 100% her. I'm just surmising that it's her, given the way that she's walked straight between sort of Juma and Yuri's house past the DRC. I've seen Tandi do that many times before, so it's why I just assume Tandi. Could be wrong. I mean, it could very well be that skittish female, and that's maybe why we're not finding her. I don't know, but all it takes for this leopard is just to get off the road and go through one of these blocks, and unless you catch them on the roads at the moment, you really have got no chance. You've got very little ability to see, and even tracking, because of how long the grass is, there's very few places that you can actually see the soil, and when you do see the soil, it's still quite baked quite hard and hasn't been churned yet by the sort of hooves of various animals. So we'll have to just wait and see. Now, Age, as you say, Senzo has X-ray vision, so if she's here, he'll spot her. I agree. Senzo's vision is very, very good. He obviously eats his carrots. Senzo, do you eat your carrots? Yes, Senzo says he eats his carrots, and that's why he's able to see as well as he does. But she's going to need X-ray vision to spot her. And then the problem is also now is the amount of time that's elapsed since she was seen. She could be quite a long way away if she's been moving. We know Tandi sometimes when she decides that she wants to go somewhere, if it is her, she can really kind of push it and go quite fast. So let's just check again. Let's go to the last tracks. That's always the best way. It's when you can't find anything, get to the last track, look carefully, try and see. The good news is by the looks of things, if she does go into this block, she hasn't come out, which means that she's just somewhere in there. We just got to try and kind of track her down and see maybe she's gone to go lie down or something like that, and that's why we haven't found her yet. But we certainly will have a little look and try. Always when I drive over this dam wall, I'm half expecting just to see Hosanna just sitting here. He used to love it behind this dam wall. We've found him here many times, kind of hanging out. Michael, my favorite memory of Karula. Ooh, that's a tough one, Michael. You're putting me on the spot here a little bit. Sure. You know, I'm trying to think actually what my... It is Karula's birthday today. That's right, Murray. You're very, very on top of it this morning. Now, for those of you, firstly, Michael, I'll get to your question now. Now, let me quickly do this. But for those of you that don't know who Karula is, Karula was a female leopard that we had in this area, who is the mother of Thandi. And she was a very special leopard because she managed to raise a number of cubs to adulthood. In fact, she only ever lost one cub, which is pretty incredible considering a predator-rich environment that we're in. And so she was really, really an incredible leopardess, and she would have been 15 today, so she would have been getting quite old today. And she disappeared 2 years ago, a few days ago, on the 9th, basically, was the last sighting we had of her. There were other sightings by other guides, but she unfortunately disappeared on the 9th. And so my favorite memory of her I would say, I mean, it's a weird one, and you're probably going to think, why on earth would I think that is a favorite memory? But it was the time when Karula and I had a little disagreement about the fact that I was on foot and she almost ate me. And there was a very nerve-wracking few minutes as she charged back and forth and tried to eat me on foot. I mean, she wasn't really trying to eat me, but she was very upset with life. And rightly so. I mean, she was mating with Mvula and also had a kill, but I didn't know either of those things at the time. And I'll tell you why it's my favorite of hers is not because she almost tried to kill me. It's because the sheer sort of determination in her to protect not only the fact that she had food, but also that she was in a compromised position by mating, and she was trying to get her point across that this is her area. I must back away now, and she's going to take over, and this is kind of where she wants to be. And that kind of epitomizes exactly who she was, well, how she was as a mother. She was incredibly defensive of her little ones, and it's probably a secret to her success is that she was very intelligent first, which was shown that day in the way that she kind of managed to loop around and do all kinds of things that I was very confused as to what was going on. I at one point thought there was only one leopard, then there was two. It was a confusing time. But anyway, it showed that she was incredibly intelligent, and also the ability, like I say, to not back down to anything is why she was so successful. And so even though at the time it wasn't a favorite sighting, now when I look back on it, just seeing how she was there, you realize why she was able to have as many cubs as she did, as well as be able to defend them and raise them to success. So I think for me that's probably one. It's just something that I think, it reminds me of her. Nancy, no, I didn't run anywhere, thankfully. Otherwise, I think she would have killed me. She was not happy at all. It was just it's a long story, really. And it was a series of unfortunate events that took place that ended up getting to that point. And it was in no way her fault, nor was it in any way really my fault in terms of the fact that we tried to track. Well, I went on a bushwalk. I'll tell the story because I've told it before, but we went on a bushwalk, and essentially, with guests, I bumped into this leopard behind the dam wall at Chitwa. So I saw her, and we didn't stay with her at all. We literally just moved off. The guests saw her briefly, and it was very cool to have a leopard on foot. But, with guests, don't really push those kinds of things, especially in a thick, dense area like that. It's better just to move off and to let that leopard be. So we moved off, and I thought, well, this afternoon we'll just come back here. At least excellent. We know where there's a leopard. Hopefully she'll still be around, but it's a good starting point for us. Anyway, so the afternoon comes along. I tell my tracker that we saw this leopard. So he's like, great, let's go there. He jumps off, and he walks, and he says, no, I found them. So I say, okay, cool. So we go, and I pick him up, and we drive to where he saw them, or her, should I say, and gone. No sign of her. So the two of us are quite puzzled by this, because he said when he walked away she was lying down. And normally when you walk away and they're lying down, then that's pretty much how they stay. They don't really move unless, of course, there's something else. And so anyway, we ended up kind of going back in and couldn't find her with the car. So we went off on foot again, and we within 2 minutes, spotted this leopard again. And so we then I said to the tracker, well, if you grab the vehicle, because he couldn't see her, I'll stay here, and then you can pick me up, and then we'll drive in from there. And so he went off quickly to fetch the vehicle, which wasn't far. And in that time, the leopard started to move, so I went to go try and see her from across a drainage line. So I put the drainage line between me. But what little did I realize that I was actually watching a male leopard through the thicket, which was Mvula, and that she was mating with him, and then she saw me and I was standing under a tree with a kill that she had, and she just got very upset. And so it's to be understood. I mean, I'd walked into her by that stage. We had seen her now 4 times on foot, and so you can understand what was going on. But what we were doing was just seeing different leopards every time we were going in, and that's why we were getting so confused as to why we couldn't find them at all. So she was just doing her thing. But there's lots of sightings of Krula. I had a really cool one of her with Shavinzi and Shivambalana defending her kill and them from hyenas, which was also a crazy sighting, which is also one of my favorites. Anyway, I'm going to try and kind of see if we can find her daughter, who's a lot harder to find than she was, that's for sure. I don't know where her tracks went. I was so busy telling the story I didn't actually look, so I'll have to go back again and go and have a little look there. Now, Maria, you were talking just now, but you broke up so much that I have no idea what you said. Say? To Lauren. Okay, excellent. Right, now Senzo has given me the update. So apparently you're going to be whisked off to Lauren. Hey. Oh. Boys, are you fighting? You are. All right, hold on, guys. We need to just get out the way quickly because this elephant's got blood all over it. And it's 2 big bulls that look like they're boxing with one another. So I just want to give myself a little bit of room so that they can come past and do their thing. Off you go. Shame. You can see this bull is the one. His right side is covered in cuts and scrapes, and this bull at the back is obviously fighting with him at the moment. There's blood all over the right side of that other bull, so we're just out of their way to let them go past, and they're both in heavy must at the moment. And so we're going to try and follow them, but I'd rather them go past me first and not try and challenge either one of them, because evidently they're having a little scrap at the moment. Try and see if I can show you that other bull. His whole ear has been torn open and he's got blood streaming down the right side of his face. Shame, boy. Is this other one giving you a tough time? Let's see where they go. I'm quite surprised because the bull in front has got a much bigger set of tusks. They're both enormous animals, these two. Let's just see. I don't want to get in their way. But they are highly, highly mobile at this stage. Let's see if they're actually going to start fighting again. Sens, I don't know if they will. Where's when you... Oh, he's got wounds all over the side of his body. It's difficult to show you because he's moving so fast. But let's just try and get forward here, and maybe we can get a gap where we can see... Oh, come on. Stop, boys, stop. Yeah, he hasn't turned, but maybe Senzo can see. You'll be able to pick up all the blood on him. Is that the front one now? Okay, let's just try and see if we can catch up with them. They're going through a very, very difficult area for me to be able to catch up, but let's try. I'm hoping at one point one of them just slows down. Let's just try and get around quickly. Senzo, did you see how much damage that poor elephant's got on it? Shame, man. That thing has got blood coming from everywhere, so I don't know what happened, but you can see how fast how fast they're moving. Lauren, I didn't see for long enough, to be honest with you. I mean, we pulled off on the wrong side because, you know, his left side is absolutely fine. But the ear wounds, no, those don't look threatening at all. The side around his front leg potentially could be. I couldn't see nicely. It's just there's a lot of red blood pumping out of that area. Can you see them, Sens? It's coming this way. Straight as we're going. Okay. Alright. So what we're trying to... Also don't want to get too caught up with them. An angry musk bull in a thicket is sometimes not the best thing to be involved in. So... Frank, well, elephants will fight for dominance to be able to mate with various females and to be able to assert themselves as the big bulls in the area. So mating rights particularly, more than anything else. But yeah, that's essentially why they will fight. So maybe there was a female in estrus that these two guys came across and they're now wanting to kind of compete over. You see them, Sens? They're there. Okay. There's a big hole here somewhere that I need to be careful of. Otherwise, we're going to lose Senzo off the back of the vehicle. Where is that hole now, Sens? I can smell them, that's for sure. Oh, there it is there. Last thing I want, though, is to come around the corner and they're pushing each other around and I've got nowhere to go. Because it's a bit complicated with this roof. No, not so much. It's more with other males that they're super aggressive. With females, not so much. They typically are okay with the females. You know, they obviously try and assert themselves and try and push themselves onto the female, but typically not too kind of aggressive towards them. They just try and mate with them more than anything else, and the size of them, poor females get bullied a little bit because of that, but it's not actually an aggressive stance. It's just more of a sexual kind of wanting to mate stance. Where did they go now? I don't see their tracks, Sens, crossing. Let's just turn off and listen. Because of how quickly they were moving, there'll be lots of branch scraping. Can't hear anything. Yeah, the problem is they're moving so fast, and that was the only way through this thicket. Since when was the last time we saw them coming towards the drainage? Alright. Let's try and quickly shoot across to Vulture's Nest, see if they come out that side. In the meantime, though, I'm going to send you across to Taylor. Hopefully we'll be able to find these two in the meantime.
I hope you shoot off to Vulture's Nest fairly quickly, Tristan. Right, we have been up and down Gari Main for quite some time. So Craig and I had wild dog tracks. We're sort of driving down Gari Main, and like there's a serious disturbance on the road with just footprints everywhere. And then we were looking, we stared at them for ages going, are they hyena or are they wild dog? There was some hyena tracks in there, but no, mainly wild dog footprints. Now, what I think maybe it happened, because it wasn't too far away from the den, maybe a couple of 100 meters back towards sort of Baboon Pan. I think that the wild dogs encountered a hyena on its way back to the den and maybe hassled it for a little bit, as they're known to do. But now we're trying to see if we can find them. I think that the dogs actually crossed back into Little Gari, so we're just quadruple checking, because they move so quick and they bounce in and out of the property. It's virtually impossible to tell. So we're just coming past Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam. Birds, there's no pilot, there's no cooter, there's no nothing. Just them terrapins. But while it's prime cat time, we won't be looking at the terrapins. We shall try and find a cat. Craig, I think maybe we need to go a little bit further west. I know we always drive down towards the east and south, but my gut's probably wrong, but we'll just give it a bash anyways. So I think we'll go further down towards the west. So we'll go back up towards, I'm just trying to think if we're going to do Gari Main or not. Nah. We'll go back up Shibamo, then we will check Philemon's Cutline and also Mendoza, Zoe's Road. We'll check around there and just see, because there was a lioness, set of lioness tracks, and we also had a male leopard track walking down Gari Main. There's lots of tracks, but they're just not all going in one direction. They're kind of going everywhere, which is not ideal and not making it easy for Craig and I to try and find these animals for you. But anyways, we shall keep trying. Now, Paula, my first sighting of Karula, do I remember it? I don't know if I do. I'm trying to think of it. Oh, I do. I totally remember it. I was at Buyatela Dam, but not at the dam, at the pan where the dam cam is. And then I was called into a sighting. I think Taxon actually told me. It said, Taylor, there's a leopard here. Or New Girl, there's a leopard here. Is probably what it would have been. And then I responded to that sighting. And it was Karula, and she had a drink. I don't know if you'll remember that. It was quite a while ago. It was in early September. Like on maybe the 10th of September, the 9th of September, or something like that, of 2016. So that was my first sighting of her, and then it just got better and better after that. She was such a cool leopard. Tristan and I actually, last Safari Live, so on Monday, we were talking about Karula and how we missed her and how she just gave us the best sighting. She's hands down one of the most famous leopards in the Sabi Sand. She's a legend. Everybody knows who that cat is, and everybody knows who her offspring is too. It's not particularly common. It's just a couple of exceptional animals that get that kind of title. Also, the hyenas disappeared, if you're wondering why we left. The cubs went into the den in June, also vanished. She went on a walkabout through the thicket, so we left the den. Let's see here. I might go back to those elephants that Tristan had, because I'd like to see them. Wisteria, yes. Karula was Hosanna's mother, and Shongile's mother, and Tandi's mother, and Shadow's mother. Everyone. All of them. Quarantine, list, Konuma. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Someone can share a lovely family tree with you. Tristan will probably draw it out for you in the sand, if you ask him nicely. And actually, you should ask Tristan to do a bit of sand art. Oh, remember those times Tristan and I used to put sand on each other's cars? I can't remember why we used to do that. And that's like the worst thing you could do to our vehicles, because we're so particular about how clean the cars have to be. Only Tristan and I in camp. Everybody else doesn't care how they can come with a bird building a nest on it, or some kind of wasp creating a little mud nest as well. We won't see those kinds of things in the cars that Tristan and I drive. We're quite pedantic about cleanliness. Okay, so we're on a fire break now, because I thought, well, no one has driven the fire break, so if we see tracks of wild dogs, then that'll be able to help us. Rommets, I think the leopards that I miss the most, definitely Karula being one of them. I miss seeing Quarantine. That is a cool cat. I used to miss seeing Kuchava, but then I got to spend quite a bit of time with her over the last few weeks, so that's been good, catching up. I miss a leopard by the name of Warthog Wallow from all the way down south, like southern Sabi Sands. Lisbon, my all-time favorite leopard. We used to live on the Lisbon property, which is, if you go to the Kruger National Park via the Paul Kruger Gate and you're on that big bridge over the Sabi River, if you look to your left, everything on your left is Sabi Sabi. And that was the Lisbon property. That's where Lisbon used to live. She used to go into the Kruger Park Lodge. Was it Kruger Park? No, Kruger Park Lodge, the Protea Hotel, something. I used to watch her climb up the trees, jump over the fence, and go and catch all the impala that were nice and relaxed. She's a clever girl, that. Very clever. Right, we're going to keep searching for some life here on Djuma. Let's go to the Mara, where Lauren is, staring up at the giraffe.
So yes, it is indeed Karula's birthday, someone I never ever got the pleasure of meeting, but of course have heard much about. So where has our giraffe gone? There we go. I don't have a leopard, but I do have a camel-like leopard. For those of you who managed to get that. And it's not the best view. We did have a better view a little bit earlier on, but I know many of you out there are fans of the giraffes. And now it has completely gone behind the bush, which is just fabulous. Hopefully it will reappear. And obviously it is feeding, the same as what the elephants do. It's the perfect time in the morning to feed. And it just always surprises me when I just see an animal of this size bending over like this. And sometimes, well, very often actually, they are the most common roadblocks. So when we're driving along, we'll just have to wait until this huge giraffe decides to move out the way. And sometimes it doesn't. And it just kind of looks down on you as if to say, are you wanting me to move? And sometimes you just have to wait there for a few minutes until this giraffe finally decides to move out the roads, which it's just hilarious every time. And of course, when a giraffe does bend down, you can see it splays its front legs. So it does look very strange to bend down. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to actually bend down and eat lower down. And of course, there's lots of theories. It's one of the things that I just love discussing. And why do giraffes have long necks? That sounds like it's going to be the start of a joke, doesn't it? But seriously, why do they have long necks? They're such weirdly wonderful, bizarre animals to look at. And of course, many people think it is for the height advantage to get to the parts of the trees that other animals, maybe only elephants, could actually access. But look at them now. I see giraffes mainly feeding on the ground than I do up in the tops of trees. So it's a very good question. I actually believe the necks are for sex. So it's obviously sexual selection that took over, and it sort of drives their necks to get very long, I guess, as an evolutionary tool. That's what I think it's for. But obviously there'll be different sides to that debate, but it just always fascinates me. Why does a giraffe have such a long neck? And of course, when it bends down like that, I mean, many of us, if we ever do yoga or we bend down too quickly, we can actually feel that we do get a bit of a head rush. Have you ever sort of bent down and thought, ooh? So, I mean, how do the giraffes actually prevent that from happening? And that's one of the most fascinating questions, and how these animals actually stop themselves from getting a head rush. And it's a very complicated subject, I guess, but they are actually able to overcome it. So if you think about it, a giraffe's brain sits, 5 meters? So 15 feet above the ground? And almost 2 meters, which is about 6 feet, away from the giraffe's heart. Now, a lot of people think that giraffes have a huge heart in comparison to their body size, but actually that's not the case. The size of the heart is completely irrelevant. It's a normal sized heart for a giraffe. Their walls are actually extra thick, but in order to sort of overcome this flow of blood that's going to hit the brain when... Oh, sorry, Murray just said something and I completely lost my train of thought. So yes, so in order to counteract the sort of flow of blood that's going to rush to the brain every time it sort of bends over, it does have a special network of capillaries, and it's designed to stop this head rush. There's also lots of special valves in the neck to assist within this process. So it's just really fascinating the way that the giraffes have sort of evolved this really lengthy neck, and it evolved all these mechanisms to stop them sort of getting a head rush every single time that they bend down. I can't imagine that would be very pleasant. So there's a huge network of capillaries there which stop that head rush. So it has been a beautiful sighting with the giraffes there. They are known as the lighthouse of the bush, or the Mara. A lot of animals actually rely on giraffes because the giraffes will see things way before they do, so they will rely on it and they will follow where the giraffe is looking. So they are also known as the lighthouses. But I just love giraffes. So that's two of the biggest mammals out here we have seen today, and we are slowly on our journey to where the area the leopard was seen yesterday. There's no guarantee that it is still around, but as many of you know, I am determined to try and find a leopard, not a camel-like leopard, and hopefully we can actually find it for you. We did check yesterday, but to no avail. But yesterday was an extremely hot day, and by the time we got out in the afternoon, the leopard would indeed be seeking shade and most likely very, very flat, so difficult to find. So we're just going to circle that area and hope that we can actually spot a real leopard. And we're not too far from the North Clan. It's all in the one area, so we'll check in there as well and I can give you all my lovely updates from the hyena researchers. So fingers crossed. I don't know why I'm so excited to see a leopard out here, actually. I think I'm more than fulfilled with all the leopards that I do see down in Juma, but I am really excited to see one out here. Now, they are known to be much skittish, as many of you know. They're not quite accustomed to vehicles as they are down in Juma, so it might not be as easy to find them, but let's give it a go. It is always worth a try. So we're probably not going to be able to off-road in this area, but we can obviously get our binos out and have a look and see if there is any leopard activity. Jonathan is asking which leopard was spotted, and it was the shepherd's leopard. The big, huge male leopard that is quite commonly seen and, yes, known to be very skittish. So that is the leopard that was seen. Oh, we have a huge array of animals here. Hello. Do you guys know where the leopard is? I'm sure you do. We have some beautiful water buck over here. Let's say good morning to them. They always make me laugh, the way they just sort of stand and look at you as if they're saying, what are you doing here? And of course, this is a separate it's a subspecies to the normal water buck. It's the Defasa water buck. But every time I see them, it just disappoints me that they do not have this bum circle. I don't think I will ever get over that disappointment. I don't know why they would want to lose that. A water buck should have a bum circle. But these guys just don't, and it's just so disappointing. So we have water buck on our left, and on our right, we have many different animals, actually. Let's take a look, guy. I do believe we have a lot of buffalo over there, and many other different antelope species. Oh, we have some young ones as well. We have some topi. So this is obviously the area to be if you are hiding out from predators. So maybe there isn't a leopard too close by after all. And you can smell the buffalo. Let me assure you, that smell cannot be mistaken. It is very, very strong. You always know when buffalo's around because you can smell them before you see them. It is a lot of buffalo. And they obviously all made it through the night because the many prides of lions that we have around here are all big fans of the buffalo. It seems to be the top of the menu, the favourite delicacy for many of the prides here. So these ones have obviously made it through the night. Well, Buffalo, it was lovely to see you. We are going to continue on because we do have a few missions ahead. Bye, Waterbug. I don't know why animals' species make me laugh. They just do. They all have such wonderful expressions. Anna Marie's asking, are we close to the Sausage Tree Pride? No, definitely not. The Sausage Tree Pride are the most furthest away pride to get access to. It's such a tricky area to get out to. And of course, we were a bit late in getting out today due to some technical issues, which we've obviously resolved. So no, we might head there a bit later. There was a cheetah seen in that area actually yesterday. I'm not sure exactly what cheetah it was, but there was a cheetah seen in the sort of Sausage Republic, if you like. But it is the most furthest away area to get to. It takes about an hour from camp for us to get there. It's really, really not an easy feat. It's quite a mission. So unfortunately, we're not quite heading in that direction right now. But you never know. In the Mara, you literally never know where you're going to end up. That is the most wonderful thing about the Mara. There is a few other vehicles that have headed in that direction, and they will let us know if they see them. Oh, I got a question there, but my earpiece fell out. Oh, it always falls out of my ear. Murray, you will have to repeat that question, please. I'm just going to have a little look here because this is where I'll get Bungai to scan as well. This is exactly where the leopard was sighted. Now, Lauren's asking what's the difference between the water buck. It is just a subspecies, so obviously it is known as a Defasa subspecies, and I don't believe there actually is any biological differences between the two. Now, of course, on appearances, I've already mentioned, it is missing that beautiful circle. But other than that, I do not believe there is any physiological or biological differences. Lauren? It's always worth just stopping and having a look, and this is exactly where the leopard was. So we're just going to scan the area a little bit more. I really don't want to miss a thing, but for now we will send you back down to Tristan for an update.
Well, good luck, Lauren. Hopefully you'll find what you're looking for. But we at the moment are trying to find these Ellie bulls. They've just disappeared into the thickets. It gives you an idea of just how tricky it is at the moment to follow animals, because 2 massive 6-ton bull elephants should be easy to find, but apparently not. They literally, so when Senzo last saw them, from there they've vanished. We can't find a track, we can't find where they've gone, and so who knows, maybe they're still in there. It might be worth going back that area and just double checking, but I doubt it. They were just so on the move that I would have been very surprised if they'd gone stationary, unless of course they're fighting with one another, but then we should have heard the pushing and shoving when we turned off a little bit earlier. Either way, that one bull got absolutely hammered by the other one, and I'm surprised because it's the one with the bigger tusks that, and almost looked bigger in body as well, that had taken the beating. And he had, I mean, his whole ear is ripped, the cartilage is all broken open, the ear's flapping forward. So I mean, I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but it's what it was looking like from our side. Senzo is shaking his head saying he has never seen that before. So hopefully that bull's going to be okay. It's just I would like to kind of catch up with them just to see if they are still fighting. Watching Ellie bulls fight is quite something. It's the power that goes into those clashes is unbelievable. The amounts of force they hit each other with, and seemingly does nothing to one another, is quite incredible, and they really are amazingly strong. So, and they go at it quite hard when they fight properly. They'll push head to head, and they kind of thump into each other, and then there's this pushing and shoving that takes place until one gets the better of the other. Joy, I didn't have a chance to look if there was any blood on the ground. They kind of, as you saw, it was a whirlwind of them just being in front of us and then coming past us and getting into the thicket. And we've been trying to kind of race around to see if we can catch them somewhere, but I can't find their tracks anywhere, and I don't really know where they've gone. Unfortunately, it looks like there was a herd of Ellies that spent some time in the Mulwati right where they should have crossed. And so I wonder if maybe they just didn't pick up that scent and turn and go a different direction, and that's why we can't find them at the moment. I don't know, I'm not sure. But we'll go back to the original kind of where we saw them and see if we backtrack them, if we can find exactly where they were fighting, because the area will look like a bomb went off. There will be debris all over the place. Trees that get broken down and grass that gets knocked up, and the road if they were on the road, will be all scuffed from their feet pushing against one another. So we'll just check, we'll kind of backtrack from where they were to see, maybe we'll get lucky and we can find kind of where they actually had the fights, and we'll see if there's any blood on the ground there or anything like that. Might be a cool little tracking lesson to do this morning, so we'll have a little look. Sarah, yes, I mean, it can be deadly if the tusks hit the right area, like you say. If tusks hit the side and in the soft parts, we know, we've seen it here. They had that dead elephant bull near Twin Dams that Brent found, and his internal organs were hanging out. But it's a very small percentage of fights in that way. There's not many that get to that seriousness. A lot of the bulls fight and they'll have superficial wounds where there'll be kind of cuts on their trunk or their ears and around their sort of chest areas from the tusk gouging them, and then they're absolutely fine. Remember, they've got a thick skin that they can deal with glancing blows. It's if they get hit kind of full on, almost T-boned if you want to call it, that they have a problem. This is where I expected them to come out. This is straight from where we saw them in a straight line. But the rate that they were moving, they should be long past here now already. But I don't see their footprints anywhere here. Maybe because the fight's still going on. Maybe that male is just making sure he proves his point and is chasing that other one all the way out of this area. Who knows how far from where they originally were fighting we stumbled upon them. They might have been busy fighting, and then the noise of the car broke the sort of attacker's concentration long enough that that other one could move away. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously tricky to know exactly how far they've come, and so generally when there's a fight like that, they try and push them out as far as possible so that they can really kind of establish themselves as that dominant force. And it's not really a territorial thing, so it's not like chasing out of a territory like a male lion would do. It's I'm going to assert myself as the bigger animal here and really kind of teach you a lesson not to come back around these parts while I'm in this area, while there's females in estrus. So, that's more the kind of lesson that's being trying to be taught rather than, a territorial thing and an area thing. All right, well, nothing that I can seem to find. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep looking out. Hopefully we'll find these bulls at some point and see if we can actually get a view, and maybe even if they split. But in the meantime, back to Tunny Taylor as she goes looking for, well, wild things of her own.
Tristan, the reason why I'm leaving today, everybody, is, if you want to know, is because Tristan keeps calling me Tunny Taylor. So until he stops calling me that, I won't be coming back. We also have not found anything this morning, but it's miserable. It's freezing cold. Craig made a good choice in going back and putting some jeans on. I should have also put long pants on, but I didn't. We thought we'd just stop at an impala herd. I thought we might get some sort of fighting action because since yesterday afternoon, funny enough, we've been seeing the impala rams sort of sizing one another up. And this spot here between Sandy Patch and Impala Plains is hot territory. And this is up for grabs. So you're slowly going to start to see the big impala rams hanging around now, not wanting to leave the spot. The females will just carry on and move off and, go and graze somewhere else, go and drink water. But there's pretty much everything here. We always talk about you need good grazing, you need some shelter, some shade from the sun, from the, windbreak from the wind, and then, of course, water, very important. And then you've kind of checked all the boxes. You're a bit itchy. I always feel sorry for animals that they can't, not all animals, but some and most, they can't scratch their eyes, because I know how itchy my eyes get. Paula is now crying out in desperation that I come back. I'm sure I will come back at some point, don't worry. It depends. They might have been banished permanently now, hey, Craig? Craig says probably. No, I'm only teasing, guys. We're just joking. It's just a joke. Don't panic. I'll be back. I just don't know when. Lovely impalas. All behaving today. No one wants to put on a show for us, hey? No? Okay. That's fine. Then we'll just love you and leave you. Craig, we're moving on from the impala because they don't want to be entertaining. We might also have to dazzle you with our personalities today. Maybe we can ask Tristan to do something hilarious. We'll see what we can come up with this morning. But I'm not sure where all the animals have gone. I haven't seen another vehicle this morning, which is I'm not complaining, the fact that I haven't seen another safari vehicle. But you normally see them whizzing up and down Gari Main and Triple M. Guys from the west trying to get to the east, the guys from the east trying to get to the west, all this type of thing. Haven't seen one person. So I don't know where they all are. Maybe they decided to stay and maybe they saw the clouds and the wind and they went, oh no, couldn't possibly get out of bed today. I don't know why I have that accent, but that's just what I imagine the guests are saying. It's just a pity about the wind, otherwise it would be quite nice. Okay, what are we going to see now? We might try and do some birding. No. I definitely don't think that Karula is still alive. I also don't think that Shongile is still alive. Or Shadow. I think that those three leopards, unfortunately, are no longer with us. Someone would have had a sighting somewhere. There's just too many eyes and ears, and they're two well-known leopards, or three very well-known leopards that, and if their pictures were to have popped up, someone would have seen them. So it's sad to say, but it's nature, it's wildlife. Nothing lives forever. We don't even live forever. So it's just the animals don't quite live as long as us. Well, it depends which animal you're talking about. But leopards in particular, they definitely don't come close to living as long as humans. And it's very tough for them out here. So, yeah, it's sad it's obviously very sad, but it is. It's just one of those things. And when things like that happen, open up spaces, and then we get to see new leopards that we maybe didn't get to see before. So it all kind of happens for a reason. So don't be too sad. Let's celebrate all the fun times that Karula gave us. And Shongile, oh, I hear mongoose. Hi, mongoose. Let's see if they will come out for us. They're living here in this mound. Hello, mongoose. Where are you? There's one. Look, it's so friendly. There's two. That one's barely got its head out. I did bring Maurice, Cull 6. I'll show you Maurice a little bit later. We'll have a look at the little mongoose. We can see you. We can see your head poking out of the mound. I think that mongoose thinks it's invisible. No, we know you're there. You can come out. So they're actually very, very relaxed, this lot. There's 3 of them that I can see that have got their hair, 4 of them that have got their heads poking out, very curious about what we are. Hello, little ones. Checking that the coast is clear. No, I promise you, if I see a raptor, I'll tell you. I'll do an alarm call that goes, ka-ka, ka-ka. And if you hear me doing that, mongoose, then you know that it's not safe to come out and that you should probably stay away. See how they keep turning their back towards us? That's really cool, actually. That just goes to show that they are fairly relaxed with us being here, moving around and talking and all these things. And they're obviously trying to come out, though, to get the nice sun so that they can warm themselves up after a very chilly day. But the sun hasn't quite risen all the way over the top of the tops of the trees. It's still got a bit of time to go. Yes, these are lovely animals. You can see why mongoose become a favorite. I think that you're all lucky, though, because I think a lot of people don't really get to appreciate the mongoose like we get to appreciate the mongoose, because you all have this up close view. So you really get to see the detail and you know, sort of be able to fall in love with them. Oh, that's amazing. Well, it seems as though Lauren is the first one to find a cat this morning. She said she had a feeling that the lions were out, and she was white.
Lauren has found a cat. A male lion, a beautiful, lonely lion just chilling at the side of the road here, having a good scratch. And I love it when lions scratch. I don't know if you've noticed this, most likely most of you have. When lions scratch themselves, and it seems to be right in that position that they're going for, they seem to not be able to control their tongue, and their tongues just come out spontaneously. My dog does. Oh, this is the one with the short tail. Look, we were just talking about him yesterday. Aha! Look at the stubby tail. We were actually just having a conversation about this lion yesterday. How bizarre. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure which lion this is. I know there is a few lions that are missing their tail around here. But if any of you do recognise him, please do let us know. Oh, don't go behind the... Oh, perfect. That was exactly what we didn't want to happen. So just allow me to reverse. Did you see that? Right on cue. He just went right behind the bush there and plonked himself down for his morning nap, which does not make it ideal for us to see him anymore. Bunge, how is that for you? Oh, Barb was saying Kichwa. Is it one of the Kichwa males? We were actually having a conversation about this lion, and Jonathan's saying short tail. Yes, I would guess short tail, Jonathan. Yes, we were actually having a conversation about the Kichwa males yesterday. We have this huge board in our studio that quite details all the different lion prides and coalitions that we have here, made by the one and only fabulous Nikki. And we were actually just discussing this lion, and I think that's exactly who it is. So thank you, Barb and Jonathan. I do believe you are both right. Now, I do apologise. This view is not a good view at all. He was sitting perfectly right there, sort of grooming and itching and scratching. And of course, he stood up, which gave us a view of his tail. And now he's just plonked back down again in an absolutely terrible view of him. So I do apologise. I'm not actually sure we can even get a better view from this angle. And I think it was Sarah saying he's very blonde. Yes, he's very, very blonde. Just like myself. Natural blonde. So I'm not sure we're actually going to be able to get a better view of this boy from here. He's most likely going to lie and sleep for the next few hours. But we're in very, very, very close proximity to the den. So what I'm thinking is we could just travel around to the North Clan. I just want to say hello. Promise I'm not going to spend too long there and give you some updates that I did promise you all last night. And then we can come back and have a look at this boy. I really don't think he's going to go far at all. I'm so happy we got to see Shorttail. We were just having a conversation about him. Unbelievable. So I hope you're all happy if we do move on, because this view is not ideal. I don't think Bungay is very happy with this view, are you? No, he's not. So we're going to just move on from the lion if we can get around this wonderful traffic jam that we have. That's one thing about the Mara. There is a lot more vehicles than there is in Juma, so you've sort of got to navigate your way around them, which isn't ideal. Hello, good morning. There we go, we did it. So yeah, we're just going to pop into the North Den and we are going to come back, hi, and see this lovely blonde short-tailed lion. Oh wow, what a spot. Do you know, lions are so camouflaged to the point where when they're flat on the grass, I bet you there's many people that really do drive past them. I didn't expect to see that lion, so I'm very chuffed, shall we say, that we did get to see another lion. And we are in the process of updating all our board. So once we update that, because there's many lions that we keep on coming across, more coalitions, lions that we don't know. So we are trying to update all our IDs in this huge board that we have on the wall of all the lions. There is a huge number of lions here in comparison to down in Juma, because it is obviously much bigger area than it is down there. I wonder what he's doing out here on his own. So we are almost at the hyena den. It is literally just round the corner, and I just want to see what's going on, because every time we come here there's actually lots of different things happening at the den. And of course it was thought, oh, my car's gonna make it up the hill. Yes, it was thought that we did see Waffles yesterday with Busara, but it actually wasn't Waffles. It was confirmed that it was her son, Turani, who is indeed also collared. So that was a very, very interesting dynamic. And of course, Pat thought it was Waffles just because it had that collar on. So every time we go to the den, we see something different, which is just why I want to check in today. And you know, I am a little bit overly obsessed with the hyenas. But we've still got a lot of digging into the clan to do before we actually understand all the dynamics. So if we just pop our head in once a day or once every 2 days and just get an idea of who is hanging around, exactly who all the mothers are, it'll just help us understand a little bit better. Now, normally I've got quite a lead foot, but I do have a vehicle in front of me, so I'm being forced to drive slowly and behave at the minute. The cameramen love how fast I drive, don't you guys? I don't think they do. I can't help it. I'm Scottish. So it's going to be a bit of a slow journey to get here because of the vehicle in front of us, so bear with us. And while we do eventually get there, let's just send you down to Tristan and see how he is getting on with his search for leopards.
Well, we are doing much the same now after we lost those ellies. I don't know where they went, but we're going to try and do a Hail Mary pass and go all the way up to Buffelshoek cut line and then do the cut line along to Cheetah cut line, see if maybe we can find them heading in that direction. We went back to where I first had them, and I went and looked at their tracks. There's no blood that I can see on the tracks, which is a good sign. It means that even though that animal was bleeding from its ears and its side, I don't think it's too bad. I don't think there's a massive puncture that there's kind of constant dripping blood. It seems as though it's more going to be kind of superficial skin wound than anything else. So that's fairly good news. So, Gabrielle, the soft spots on an elephant, like most animals, is the underbelly. So anywhere around the front legs, back legs, stomach area, those are generally on any animal where you're going to have quite soft skin, and where they're going to, unfortunately, if they get hit there, are going to get very badly injured. Of course, if it's a glancing blow, then generally on something like an elephant or, rhino, hippo, that's okay. It's when they get hit kind of side on, and those tusks or horn is being pushed straight into the side at a 90-degree angle, that's generally the ones that do a lot of damage to each other, because it goes deep into that stomach cavity and then it punctures internal organs and all kinds of other things, which causes a lot of trouble for that poor animal. So hopefully that's not the case. Like I say, the fact that there's no blood drops on the actual tracks themselves is pretty good news. What interests me, though, is that evidently what happened, from what we can see, is there was a herd of ellies that was in the Mulwati that were playing around in the sand, and it seems like they were having a good time. And then those two bulls must have arrived, because when they came out of the Mulwati onto Twin Dams Road, there's just all these tracks up and down, and you can see where the herd was moving as well as these bulls. And then they came out of the block they kind of crossed west over Twin Dams Road, and then they came back out of the block, and then that's where we found them, is on Ingwe Alley there, where they were kind of having a go. Must have had to go inside the thicket, because we couldn't find any sign on the road where they were fighting. It looks like more inside that kind of dense area they were kind of going at each other. Maybe it wasn't even those two. Maybe there was another bull involved. Who knows? But it looked like it was, the way that they were moving off and that one was just not stopping tends to suggest that it was being chased by the other one. And even the other one didn't stop for us. It just kept pursuing and going straight on. And there was no other ellies that followed or anything like that we could see. So, but I will tell you, those are two big boys. If you look at the tracks, when we went back and looked at the tracks, those tracks are not small. They are big tracks that are adult, big, mature Kruger bulls, which are always so impressive to see. So it's a pity that we couldn't get to see them for a little bit longer. I always like seeing those big bulls. They really are amazing when they're that size. There's nothing quite like when you parked just off a road and one of those elephants that makes you feel as though you're very insignificant walks past. I mean, that bull, the second bull that came, in fact both bulls that came past, they're standing much taller than what this car is, even with the roof. And so when they kind of walk past, and there's these massive tusks that come past, pretty impressive pictures, and certainly demand a lot of respect. And that's why we backed off the road quickly to allow the two of them to come past. I think they wouldn't have been so impressed if I just sat there. They probably would have gone around me. I really want to push an injured animal, one, and one that actually is trying to do the maiming and injuring, because if it feels like you're challenging it, you never know what can happen. Whereas if you just pull off the side of the road, they're so engrossed with... Right, we're going to keep going onto the boundary and see what we can find. In the meantime, back across to Taylor.
Sterling's rain warbler, but I can't see it. Hi everybody, sorry, I've just exclaimed to Craig that there is a Sterling's rain warbler calling. Let's see if we can find it. They'd like to sit at the tops of the trees, which is not ideal for us at the roof. Can you hear it? It's somewhere in the silver cluster leaves, but I don't know where. It's a cool call, hey? I'm going to open my bird up in 2 seconds so I can show you a picture if we don't get to see it. But it's somewhere in there, but it's a bit hard to see. I'll go forward now. As soon as if it jumps, then I'll be able to spot it. S. Do I know it's got a W? Warbler. Sorry, everybody, but it's worth it, I promise. I don't know how to spell. Which warbler will it? Here we go. Sorry, it took me a while. Where's a pretty picture? There's a pretty picture. Look how lovely it is. There's another one. Very easy to tell because of the black sort of bars that go across its belly and its very red eye. Look how beautiful it is. There's not really anything else that looks like that. Little eggies. Okay. It's stopped calling now, so it must have flown away. But it's a pity, but they're such cool little birds. I don't know if we would have been able to have seen it with the roof on, though. Let me just check. Maybe we get lucky one sitting in the middle of a tree. No. Okay, so update time. Yay! We had male leopard tracks. I think I told you a little bit earlier. I'm sure it was Hukumuri that came passing through because he walked his normal route from Treehouse Dam all the way Power Lines Road, and I'm assuming he's crossed out into Arathusa now. So he popped on for a visit. Off you go to Lauren, though. She's got somebody else who's paying her a visit, and they're outside of the den.
Yes, we made it to my favorite place. Oh, hello. We just had one pop out there. I've been looking for you the past few days. Naughty. I was worried about you guys. Now, the den is busy. We have lots of sleeping hyenas. It must have been a very busy night last night. I wonder what they got up to, but whatever it was busy. We have hyenas everywhere. I'm sure Bungay is going to give you a wonderful view, and they're all just collapsed on their side, having a snooze. And we do have waffles. So it is Waffles today, I can confirm that. We do have Waffles snuggling with her offspring, I believe. So I can't exactly see who it is. She's directly in front of me. And it could obviously be Grenadine or Ilovo. But from this angle, it's really not possible for me to see who is who. Now, Grenadine does have some ear notches. That's the way I've sort of learned to recognise her. She's an older cub, so she's one of the bigger cubs at the den. And there is a prominent ear notch there, which gives her away. And Ilovo is a little bit more silver, if you like. Sort of when you look at her fur, you see a sort of silver tone. And that's how I sort of recognise between the two. So Waffles is having a nice snuggle. We've got the mothers at the entrance of the den doing some suckling. And everyone else is just very relaxed here. So it's wonderful to be here. As you know, I was a little bit concerned about the cubbies because I hadn't seen them in a little while. So I've just seen one cub this now. And I believe the mothers are suckling the rest. So I did get an update. We remember that, well, whoever was watching, remember that first time we came and we saw the new cubs for the very first time, the very, very young ones. Well, we were sort of debating, did we see 4? Did we see 3? I thought I saw 4. No, 3. Well, it turns out I have actually only ever seen 3. So I thought it was obviously 3 that there was. But indeed, there is apparently 4. Now, I'm not sure how exactly they can confirm this because I've not seen the 4th one, and apparently the hyena researchers haven't actually seen the 4th one either. But there is supposed to be 4, and I'm now going to introduce them by name. Are you ready? Krim, who is one of the mothers, we already know that, has 2 cubs, and this is Matilda and Charlie. No guesses there what theme we're running along. And is that Krim there, or is that Remy? The two mothers of the most recent cubs are Krim and Remy. So Krim has Matilda and Charlie, obviously going along a Roald Dahl theme here. And Remy has Bring It Round Town. Yes, that is the name of one of the cubs. And the other one, are you ready, is Krusty Krab Pizza. I cannot comment on the names. Please do not ask me any questions on the names because it's not from us, but those are the names of the 4 brand newest cubs at the den. So that's a lovely update, but I personally haven't seen 4 cubs. I have only seen 3. So it brings us to question if maybe one of them is slightly weaker or if anything has actually happened to the other cubs. I'm really, really not sure. But you can see the smallest, blackest ones. They are the brand new cubbies at the den. A lot going on here. There we go. We're getting a perfect view of those two little black ones. How adorable. They've actually got even bigger in the time that I've seen them. Hyenas do grow incredibly fast, which is scary. They just get very old very quick. Oh, and we have got one coming up to the den. Coming up to the car right now, as usual. Right on cue. Good morning. I believe this potentially could be Tara or Ang, just judging by the size here. It's a very fluffy one. And for some reason the car, there we go, right under the car, which is a view we cannot give you anymore. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera under the car, but right on cue. The vehicle seems to really, really fascinate them. It must carry a lot of smiles. I'm not sure what of. April's asking who names the hyenas. It is the research group, and they do run on themes. So when you actually do... Oh, Waffles is up. Oh, it looks like she was actually with both Grenadine and the Lovo. How lovely. Just get Bongay to show you Waffles there. She's looking a little bit skinny. I don't think she... Oh, what is she doing? What are you doing, Waffles? That's a very strange movement. I'm really not 100% sure what she's up to there. But yes, that is Grenadine, I believe, and a Lovo that she was snuggling with. Oh, she's bringing something up. She just regurgitated. Lovely. That's what that was. Welcome everyone. We are sitting here live in the Masai Mara in Kenya at the hyena den known as the North Clan. Now my name is Lauren and I do have Bungay on camera, and we are surrounded by hyenas getting up to all sorts of wonderful things, including cubs of all ages. And we do have the they're coming right up to the car, the matriarch with the collar on, known as Waffle. She is no longer the matriarch, and she's regurgitating quite a lot of food here. I'm not 100% sure why she's doing that. I've actually never seen a hyena do this before. It's slightly bizarre, but she's been regurgitating for quite some time now. It looks like it could possibly be over. Maybe something just wasn't quite sitting right in her. How strange. So Waffles is no longer the matriarch of the North Clan, but she still ranks extremely high. So she's still up there. Oh, she's still regurgitating. What's wrong, girl? She doesn't seem to be eating what she's bringing up, which is common for animals like dogs and lots of animals to do, actually. But obviously something wasn't sitting right with her this morning. She's been doing that for some time now. So all the cubs are coming up to the... Oh, hello. Hi. Good morning. I'm surrounded by little cubs. Hi. Oh, I think you need a shower. You're a little bit smelly. Yeah, there's quite a smell there. So do talk to us, ask your questions, anything that you would like to know about the wonderful dynamics of the North Clan here. And right at the entrance to the den, we have the brand new cubs, which are just very newly introduced to the world, and they're right ahead of us. They're very young and they're very black in colour, and that is because they are so young. Hyenas start to lighten and get their spots when they are a little bit older. So you can see it's a very active den this morning. This morning is morning time is a wonderful time to actually come to the den because there's a lot of activity. The cubs are sort of bounding about. There's a lot of suckling happening. The mothers come to suckle. And there's just generally a lot of interaction between all the hyenas. Now, it is wonderful to see the matriarch here, the ex-matriarch, sorry. So she's still very much part of the clan. She's still very much welcome around. She just is no longer the most dominant female, as hyenas do work on a matrilineal society where there will be one dominant matriarch of the clan. I think I got a question from Ariana saying I thought they were called cups, not cubs. I'm not sure what that is, but they are cubs. So obviously the little young ones are all cubs. That's what we call the young hyenas. And we've just got such a range of age groups here, and they all are part of the one clan. So hyenas are very social, and they have very complex social structures that we're still trying to understand. And yes, they all hang around this area known as the Den. So Rochelle is asking how big is the North Clan, and it is huge. It's one of the biggest and longest studied clans, and lots of dynamics and lots of interesting things that you can learn about them. And I do believe most recent count of the current members that are still alive and still with us is approximately 77, which is very, very large for a hyena clan. And this this is all happening right next to our vehicle, by the way. The cubs are very, very interested in the vehicle, and they just tend to come around, sniff and bite. One day they are going to bite through something that they shouldn't, and we are going to have a problem with our vehicle, I imagine. But for now, it's adorable having them around. Chris is asking, how does one take over as the clan leader? So for hyenas, it's very, very complicated. And to be a matriarch, it's very like being a member of the royal family. You are born into it. So you inherit your rank from your mother. So it is it's always the matriarch's daughter, the strongest one, the fittest one, who will take over. It doesn't really depend on genetics or physical fitness or anything else that you can offer. You are literally born into the role of matriarch. But what is interesting is that with this clan, the North Clan, there is actually been 2 takeovers. So 2 really surprise, unsuspected moves from lower ranking females that have actually came in and taken over as matriarch, which is very unusual. And there's a lot of focus on this at the moment, a lot of studying, because normally the matriarch stays the matriarch until death. And it's upon death that the daughter will step up. I didn't quite get the name, but someone is asking about, will the regurgitated food be consumed by the cubs? Well, this is actually the first time I've ever seen this happening. Ty is asking that question, I do apologise, and it doesn't look like it. It doesn't really look like the cubs are indeed eating the regurgitated food from Waffles herself. So I'm really not sure what's wrong with her. It was very strange behaviour that she just exhibited, and I've personally never seen it before. So hyenas can normally consume anything. Carol's asking about the males, and the males' role within a clan is actually, again, quite complex and different from the females. And she's asking, will they hunt by themselves? Yes, hyenas are actually great hunters. They're not just solely scavengers, which is what they get their reputation from. They are fantastic hunters, and they are known to hunt cooperatively with members of the clan. But yes, males do hunt alone and do scavenge alone. They're very resourceful animals, and they make the most of everything that they can get their hands on, which I think is just incredible. To know that you can steal food, you can get your own food, you can just really make the most of your surroundings. It's very, very resourceful, and that is indeed what makes them strong animals that they are. They're said to be very intelligent, and lots of studies are showing that they could actually be up there with their problem-solving skills with primates. Now, that is a huge, huge thing. There's lots of studies done into the prefrontal cortex of hyenas, and their problem-solving skills are actually even said to outperform primates in that they can solve problems quicker and silently. So with many primates that have been looked at for the same sort of skills, they actually communicate with one another in order to solve the problem. However, hyenas has said to do it silently. So I was asking, can they bite your head off? I imagine technically they could, I guess, in answer to your question, but I really don't believe they would. They have got a terrible reputation, lots of bad stories about hyenas, but I really don't think a hyena would come and bite my head off. But I guess if they really wanted to, the power of their jaws and their teeth is so strong that I guess they could. Their skulls are designed in such a way that gives them a really odd-looking shaped skull when you really look at it, and that is because it's got all these extra areas for muscle attachment sites to give them that extremely powerful bite. So I guess they could, but that makes them sound bad because they wouldn't. They do have this terrible reputation, which we are determined to prove everyone wrong here. Jamie's asking on behalf of her son. Her son would like to know how long do the cubs stay with their mother. Well, actually, hyenas have a really extended and sort of protracted weaning period. They actually suckle and lactate for quite some time, and the cubs can survive on the mother's milk for up to 18 months, some even 2 years. So the milk of a mother hyena is actually the strongest in the animal kingdom. And the cubs can survive on that for a very long time. It's very rich in protein, calcium, very high in fat, and it gives the cubs all the nutrition they need. So the mothers protect their cubs by keeping them around the den and feeding them just solely on the milk. And it isn't until about 2 years that the cubs' jaws will spring into action and they will be ready to start crunching through bone and eating meat. So I hope that answers your son's question, Jamie. So they're all having a little sniff around the entrance to the den here, and that is where the very, very young cubs are kept inside there for protection. Many predators can come by and, of course, kill the cubs. So this is a safe zone. This is a safe area where they are indeed protected from the predators. So that was a wonderful, beautiful sighting at the North Clan Den. Thank you all for joining us and all your questions and comments. And if you want to keep watching, the safari is not finished for this morning. Head to YouTube and type in SafariLive, and you can keep watching exactly what the North Clan are going to get up to and what our other vehicles are getting up to. So those of you still with us, it was a lovely morning at the den. We just got here in perfect timing, actually, to see lots of activity. And of course, we did get to see Waffles regurgitating. I'm really not sure why she would be doing that. Hyenas are known to eat almost anything and everything, including bone, including even horns. They do tend to leave the horns, but there is evidence that some hyenas have actually eaten horns from your antelopes, for example. They can eat tendons, ligaments, all sorts of wonder. There's actually some bonding going over here with Waffles. There's a lot of tenderness happening at the minute. No aggression here whatsoever. It's very nice to see. So yes, I'm not sure exactly what could have upset her stomach. Maybe she just didn't crunch something small enough and it just wasn't sitting right. Or have you ever swallowed and it's gone down the wrong hole? Do you know what I mean? When you really swallowed something, you thought, oh, that hasn't gone down right. Well, that's what we say in Scotland. It's gone down the wrong hole. I'm not sure if that's a worldwide expression. But yeah, that could have also been the case here. She just didn't swallow something correctly. But it didn't seem that the cubs actually ate the food, so I'm not sure what happened there. So we might stay here just a tad longer, but we are going to continue on our bumble, head back to that lion and just check out what else is going on. But for now, let's go to Taylor for an update.
Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice hyena action this morning. My hand is really itchy and I don't know why it's so itchy. Anyways, I've heard Tristan on the Game Drive radio and he's got a surprise for you. He's got a nice surprise. We don't have any surprises though. Hey, Craig. A nice surprise would be a coffee van, coffee truck that would come past. That would be a nice surprise. Also, my eye is watering. I'm malfunctioning now because I've got to leave today. So sad. Nah, because I know I can come back, so it's fine. I'm not sad. You also don't need to be sad. If you weren't sad, well then that's fine. You can just carry on being jolly. Craig, I have no idea where we're going to drive. If Tristan's got his surprise over there, then we can maybe... Let's go to Chitwa. We will drive to Chitwa, and hopefully Chitwa will give us kuchava. All wild dogs. Wonderful. Okay, well... Mary, you're talking to me. Tristan's not getting any of that. You'll have to start that linking thing again. Okay, let's try this. Right, we're going to go on to Gary Man. We're going to head towards Chitwa. You're going to go to Tristan now, who's got a wonderful surprise.
Well, Taylor, I'm not sure where you're going. We've still got work to do for the next hour, but anyway, we kind of do have a surprise because, look, we've got spots, which is always very pleasant. So little Columba, who's being a queen on top of the most pretty little mound as well. She's kind of draped over it. It can't be very comfortable. I think she's going to move now. You can see she's yawning. Maybe she's going to rest a little bit, but isn't she kind of cute on top of this mound? It's very pointy. I don't know why she's decided this would be the mound that she would like to sit on, but this is where she's placed herself for the morning and decided this is where she's going to look over the world. But essentially, firstly, I'm actually quite surprised at how big she's gotten since I've been last saw her. She's starting to look like a little adult leopard now, and she's really starting to take on more of a kind of adult face. That cub sort of look is starting to fade a little bit from her, and she's really starting to kind of look very, very healthy and good and big, and I'm excited to see how she goes. It's interesting to see where she's been hanging around as well. I would have expected her to be hanging around a little bit further to the north than where we are at the moment. Down here is where the skittish male does get seen, and so to me it's a surprise that she's here. I would have thought she would have tried to kind of stay up in the area around Buffelshoek Dam and then that kind of section, but maybe that adult female up there that was mating with Tingana has been giving her a bit of a hard time, and that's why she's down this side. Or it's because, well, she had a meal with Mom down this side a few weeks ago and has just ended up sticking around in the hope that Mom will come back. And she's doing what most leopards of this age do, is she sits around pretty much every day, generally on mounds. They often do like to sit on mounds, and they wait for the adults to come back in case, or adult should I say, in the form of Tundi to come back. To potentially take her to food. But that relationship is surely starting to get exhausted now. I mean, she's getting big and healthy and clearly is able to survive, because if you know, she's been on not seen with Tundi for many, many days now, and yet we still managed to, well, she can see that she's perfectly healthy, so she's obviously surviving just fine. Sammy Jane, no, this is not who was at the dam cam earlier. We're very far from there at the moment. We're right down on the southern boundary, well, not on the southern boundary, but I suppose not far from the southern boundary. But I don't think it was her. I'm pretty sure that was her mom that was moving around there. And because it can't have been Shadulu. Shadulu's in the west with her cubs, apparently. Well, the western side of this reserve is absolutely thumping this morning. They've got Shadulu and cubs, Tiani and cubs, they've got Hukumuri, they've got the Nkuhumas, so lots happening on that side. But anyway, So, no, I don't think it was her. I think that was Mom that was walking around that side, and I was hoping that she might be coming down this way to come and fetch little Kalamba, but evidently, given Kalamba's face, which looks as though she is very tired of waiting for Mom, she hasn't arrived back this side. But I'm super glad she perched herself up on this mound, because it made seeing her a little bit easier. The road is actually quite far from here. It's probably about 50 meters. So it was a bit of a long distance spot that we got, which was good. And we just happened to look at the right time and see her sitting on the mound. But it's the perfect mound for a leopard to look very, very regal. So Ramona, leopard territory is always dependent on density of other leopards and food availability. So some leopard territories will be very large. If you go to the leopards that are in the desert areas of Africa, their territories can be huge, whereas the leopards, that we get here, because the density is quite high, we actually tend to see that the territories are quite small. So an average size territory in this area for a female is between sort of 3,000 and 4,000 hectares, or 6,000 to 8,000 acres, and a male territory will be anywhere between sort of 10, maybe more, 12 to sort of 18,000 hectares for the males. So they have a slightly bigger territory, obviously. They're trying to encompass more females in their area, and females generally don't have to roam in order to find, multiple different males. So they have a much smaller territory where there's den sites and water and food. And luckily here in the Sabi Sands there's a lot of water, which means there's a lot of food, and therefore territories don't have to be too big at all. Larima, what do her half backwards ear positions mean? Nothing other than that she's just listening. She's just maybe comfortable for her to put them like that. You can see they're moving up and down all the time. They're constantly kind of flexing and twisting and turning, which is typical of any cat. So she's just constantly hearing out around her in case there's anything that moves. If that's right, she's going to fall asleep and fall off this mound the way that she's lying at the moment. But it's just to really kind of listen. It's almost like she's listening behind her. She's got her eyes that is able to see in front of her, and those almost act like eyes. When she twists them back like that, she can hear. Also could be maybe the bit of wind that's blowing is irritating her if she holds her ears in a certain way, and so that just helps with being able to kind of sleep better. I don't know, maybe that's the reason, but it's more to listen out around her, and you'll see they'll kind of move all over. She's got a massive tick on that left ear at the moment. Girl, are you going to fall off? It reminds me of like when you're traveling around in a plane or something like that and you're watching someone dozing off. Anna-Marie, you say she's posing like a supermodel? Yes, well, she's about to fall off this. I just love watching her head. Look at how her head just kind of slips. Classic. She's such a clown. She's just like her half-brother, who should come back, because the two of them are highly entertaining, and it's so nice that at least in some ways she's filled a bit of a void while Hosanna's been gone. Sightings of her have been quite frequent in comparison to what they were when Hosanna was around, which is interesting. I mean, we really struggled to find Kalamba for a few months, and now she's kind of the little superstar that we see most out of our leopards here. My girls, is it not comfortable? Mustn't I laugh at you? Okay, I won't laugh at you. But you're being silly. Oh, she's beautiful. She's really developed into a very, very good-looking little leopard. And I think that's going to be a far more comfortable way that she's lying now. Unless, of course, there's something sticking into her throat. But otherwise, she looks as though she's perfectly happy. Arman, you say you're missing her uncle. Well, remember that Hosanna, while he is not her direct brother, he is a brother nonetheless, because they share the same father as far as we know. So it's, as much as we want it to be a brother and an uncle, they are actually in some way brothers, which makes, if they mate together, a little bit of an issue, because obviously it's a slight kind of inbreeding factor there. But I would imagine that, you know, she would, after a few generations like that, it takes quite a few inbreeding sessions of multiple generations to get it right, for there to be any sort of damage to the genetic code. Right, now we're going to sit with little Columbo because she's ever so pretty on her mount, and while we do that, let's send you back across to Lauren, who I think has gone back to her lions.
So we just came across the lion, or should I say lions. There's two of them. I don't know how we didn't spot this earlier, but there is two. Now, I am really not exactly sure who they are. Obviously, a viewer thought the Kichwa males. I am not 100% sure that it is, I'm afraid. I'm not sure I have to say I agree with you. And obviously, this one has a short tail, but that one, it doesn't mean that it is the short tail. I do believe there's two lions that we know of with short tails, and one's tail is slightly longer than the other. So one is a short stump, and the other one is not quite a short stump, if that makes sense. So there's actually two the whole time. I'm glad we sort of drove back this way. We are on our way to a spotty surprise for you. Not the same spotted surprise that Tristan has, but a different cat. But we just thought we would stop in again at these lions because we're actually getting a much better view of them. Now, this lion, we'll just call him Stumpy Tail right now, just to avoid confusion, actually has an injury on his back left leg. Oh, and the tail. Look, you can see the flesh at the end of the tail. Ouch. I'm not sure that 100% looks like it's properly healed. There's a few injuries there. Nancy's asking, why is the tail short? Nancy, great question, and I'm afraid you have as much knowledge as I do. I can only guess that it has been bitten off, but I really could not tell you exactly what has happened. But it doesn't look like it's healed very well, and there is some other injuries there. What happened to you, boy? Looking very skinny. So I'm pretty sure this male lion is hungry. Maybe did not potentially feed last night. We have no way of telling that, but normally when lions have fed during the night, they do look rather full. Now this boy, we're only getting a view of his head. It would be great if he could stand up and show himself off to us. It's always a good one. Who are you? We're currently working on it. We've got Nikki working on it as well. But I'm just not 100% sure that it is a Kichwa male. I think that could possibly be wrong. So yeah, I'm really, really glad we stopped back here and actually realised there was two. I'm not sure how we missed that the first time round. Probably because there was a lot of traffic. But it is very, very close to the hyena den. Very close proximity to the hyena den. We're really not that far away from the den at all. And I've actually lost sight of that other male. Can you see him, Bungay? No, he's gone down a sort of ditch. Probably to do the toilet. Lions tend to just remove themselves from the immediate vicinity and do the toilet and come back. Oh, standing up. Perfect. Can I just see the tail there? Is that it? Yeah, that's a normal tail we've got here. Perfect. So this male it looks skinny, but not injured in any way, because the other male did have quite a few injuries that we could count, but this male does not seem to have any. Looks a bit hungry though. Oh wait, is he limping? I don't know if I'm imagining that. I feel like there's a slight limp there on the right leg. Possibly not. It possibly could just be stiff. If you've been lying down for a long time, it could indeed be just stiffness. I'm not sure if that's in my mind or not. Now, I'm just going to have to move a little bit. There's another vehicle coming. I do apologise. I just need to move out the way for them. Bear with me. I'm parked right in the middle of the road. Which is obviously not ideal for other vehicles. So yes, now that we have moved, we have indeed lost visual of the lion. So we're going to continue because, like I said, there is a spotted surprise up ahead. Now, it's a little bit far away, so I'm going to have to really put my lead foot down. Are you ready, Bungay? did this, which means he's ready, in order to get to this spotty surprise for you. And I'm sure you've all guessed, I probably should tell you, it is indeed Busara. Now, we thought she had completely left yesterday, and as, well, many of you know, I think I've said this quite a few times, I am personally concerned about her. Really not 100% sure about her health. So the fact that we've got news that she has been spotted, I do need to go and check it out. She is in the same area that she was in yesterday, so I really just want to check on her and see how she's doing, and I'm sure many of you want to check on her as well. So we're going to go a bit Ferrari safari for now and try and catch her. She is a good 20-25 minutes away from us right now. So I'm going to go as fast as I can without killing myself or my cameraman. That is my aim for today. Well, I'm actually driving so fast that I can't hear anything in my earpiece, so I am probably going to have to slow it down a bit. Perfect. So while I speed down, I am going to send you back down to South Africa so that you can't judge my terrible driving skills.
Well, good luck, Lauren. If you're driving fast, maybe you have intel that there is a leopard around, and you'll get lucky and see the little shepherd tree. Well, not little, but he's a big boy now, the shepherd tree male. He's a fantastic-looking leopard. I'm quite sad that I haven't seen him. I've seen quite a few leopards in my time in the Mara, but just never him, funnily enough. He's been around while I've been there. I've just had, unfortunately, other things to go and see and to go and kind of do from a work point of view, and so haven't had a chance to see him yet, but one day I'll get to see him. He's a magnificent specimen. But talking about magnificent specimen, you can see we've positioned a little bit differently with little Tlalamba, and she really has made the most awkward mound look incredibly comfortable. She's kind of just draped over her mound at the moment. The only thing that would make this picture look that much better is if she put her tail onto the other side, so his tail was kind of hanging on our side rather than the side that it's on at the moment. But I think that's just helping her balance at this stage and staying on the mound properly. But she has... Oh, girl, are you tired, my girl? What did you do last night that you're so tired? Shame. Isn't she pretty, though? She's got the most beautiful little coats and nice big rosettes, and you forget just how beautiful leopards are when you don't see them for a few weeks. And so when I was in India, I missed seeing these guys every day, like we do here. Sitting Bull, is it possible she'll mate with Tingana? Probably not, and I'll tell you why. Tingana, well, she's only going to come into an estrus theoretically in 2 years' time. So, I mean, she could a little bit earlier than that. She could be about a year. But Tingana, at this rate, you know, he's already fairly kind of getting on. And so if he's around in 2 years' time, I'll be quite impressed. I think it'll be quite a mean feat for him to be around for another 2 years. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think in all likelihood we're going to see her mating with a different male. Which male that may be, I have no idea at this stage. You know, this area will still be somewhat up for grabs, and it also depends on where she settles. If she's going to stay here, then maybe she'll get to mate with potentially Quarantine or the skittish male or Hukamuri, or who knows, maybe another male comes in. But I don't think Tingana. I don't think Tingana is going to be our dominant male in 2 years' time, when she theoretically should start to mate. And even then, that's going to be fairly early on in her life. To be mating at 3 years old is quite early. Most leopardesses are only breeding really at about 4 months old, which is... I mean, 4 years old, should I say, not 4 months. 4 months would be ridiculous. At 4 years old. So she's still got a little while to go until she's breeding. And I don't think Tingana is going to be around, unfortunately, for that long. Marjorie, you say you wish you could pet her and give her a treat. Yes, well, she does look like a little house kitten, doesn't she, sometimes, when she's like this, especially when she's posing as beautifully as she is today. She has that kind of domestic sort of look about her, and especially some of the things that she ends up doing. She kind of rolls around and she yawns and stretches, and you can see where domestic cats get their well, I suppose where they kind of separate out from wild cats. They do so many things that are so similar that it's no surprise that, you know, we as people kind of see so many similarities in them. She's a stunning cat, though, that's for sure. I think she really wants something to happen for her and find, you know, Mom to come back and be like food, because Karen, exactly. We're sorting out Clalamba suitors already. This is going to be arranged marriage at this stage. We're going to try and make sure that she gets the best ones. I mean, as much as she's related to Hosanna, I think her and Hosanna would make very, very pretty little cubs. It would be kind of a little match made in heaven. They're both, you know, so relaxed and so full of incredible sightings that I can only imagine the cubs would be the same. It's going to be really interesting to see how she raises cubs. Is she going to be like her mom, which is quite sort of shy and elusive and tries to kind of keep, you know, the cubs well hidden and is not really that great with bringing them out all that often? I mean, we know with Clalamba there was long periods we went without seeing her. Or is she going to be a little bit more like her grandmother, who was great at just showing off her cubs quite regularly? I mean, Karula, we saw the cubs often. And it's quite fitting, I suppose, that we see one of Karula's lineage this morning, given that it is her birthday. It would have been nice to see her daughter, but I suppose her granddaughter will also do it. And of all of the sort of offspring that are alive at the moment, for me, little Clalamba looks the most like Karula at this age. If you go back and you look at photos of Karula at this age, they're quite similar, these two. Well, in my opinion. I think it's up to everybody else as well. Sorry, Maria, I don't understand that question. Is she old enough to mate with huku males? Do you mean hukumuri? Is that what you're trying to ask? I don't know what a huku male is, Murray. I'm not sure what you mean. So is she at risk from outsiders, intruders, males, before she's old enough to mate? Then yes. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not sure what that means, huku males. But anyway, I assume that it's to do with the fact that it's intruding males or males that are on the fringes of Tingana's territory. Yes, most definitely. If Hukumuri or the skittish male or potentially quarantine came across her, you never know. She might be at risk with them. She's getting to the age now where she's starting to get big enough that hopefully they would see her as a potential mating right. But because she can't mate just yet, she might still be seen as a cub and be killed. I mean, if you look at Shongile and her incident with Thandi, it's not only the males that are going to be a danger to her. She's got to be careful of females too. So she's going to have to be careful of her older sister Kuchava, Subui's cub. There's a lot of different females that could potentially give her a lot of trouble. So she's going to have to kind of watch herself and make sure that she doesn't get herself into trouble that way as well. It's not only the boys that she needs to worry about. But hopefully Tingana will be another year, and then I think she'll be fine. If she's over 2 years old, then I think we're going to be all right. Oh, she is magnificent. Her eyes have gotten beautiful, haven't they? Very kind of light color. Very, very pretty. It's nice how relaxed she's got too. I remember a time when she was on her own that she was a little bit kind of wary of vehicles, and now she doesn't even wake up when you start the car. She just kind of opens an eyelid, looks at you, and is very much part of that whole royal lineage that just knows how to be showstoppers and kind of pose for the camera in every way possible. Very pretty. Like I say, hopefully Mom comes along at some point, or at least, you know, she finds herself a meal. His tummy looks fairly good though. I mean, it doesn't look like it's sucked in if you look at that kind of in front of the back leg. So I think she potentially has had some sort of meal. She probably finds she's hunting all small things like little mice and lizards and scrub hairs and the likes. So, you know, she'll be able to sustain herself on all of those kind of things. No, Murray, if you can just repeat the name. Sorry, I got the question, but if you can just repeat the name for me. But in terms of what the parents of Karula were like, so it was Mafufanyan and Safari. Puma, that's right. Sorry, Puma. I got the question, but not your name. Puma, in terms of what they were like, both legendary cats in their own regard. I mean, Safari, I had the pleasure of seeing her multiple times. I was actually, I think, the last vehicle to actually see her while she was alive. She was almost 19 and a half basically when she died, so very, very, very old for a leopard. In fact, she's the second oldest leopard that I know of, well, in terms of an age in the Sabi Sands that's been recorded, the oldest being Tavangumi in the central part of the Sabi Sands. But she was an incredible leopardess. She had one eye for a vast majority, well, not vast majority, but a good chunk of her life. She only had one eye. I think it was about 6 years that she had only the one eye. And she still showed no kind of difference in terms of her ability to hunt and to kind of find food. She was incredibly good at hunting, even with that one eye, which was amazing, and an incredibly good mother. And then Mafufanyan, well, he was a legend in this area. I mean, he gained notoriety from a huge fight with Tyson, who was a much bigger leopard, and yet Mafufanyan stood his ground and actually gave Tyson a bit of a hiding. And that's where he kind of really gained notoriety amongst the guides in the area. But he was also a beautiful, beautiful leopard that spent a lot of time in this area. Excuse me. But anyway, we'll sorry, I don't know what happened. We'll survive at some point. In the meantime, though, before I die, let's send you across to Taylor.
Not sure if we're alive yet. Maybe just now. Ah, there we go. Hello, everybody. Craig and I, out of pure desperation, are searching for Sibuya now. Well, Craig probably didn't even know that's why we were driving here, but we're driving here because we're looking for Sibuya, because we can't find any other animals. Everything is so quiet. Even Chateau Dam is dismal today. I think it's the weather. We shall blame it on the weather. So we're just checking here along the sort of the southern boundary. I'm not sure if Sibuya, who is also a leopard, has decided to come back this way. She's in sort of her old turf, her normal turf, which is closer towards Mala Mala. She does linger around here in her nets. So I thought, let's just come and check, because the amount of times she's found just on the boundary and says, you'll be able to see her with your camera. You never know. Kill 6, I did bring Maurice, but Maurice isn't out yet. Maurice will come out later. I actually answered this question already. We did talk about it. Hey, Kill 6. Yeah, a couple of segments ago. So Maurice will come out at some point, but he's not coming out now, because we've still got some time to find animals, and I would really like to see a leopard or a lion, or even an elephant before I go today. So I'm being a bloodhound. Well, I'm doing a very poor job at being a bloodhound. So we will just quickly check nicely along this road, and then we're going to turn around, then we're going to go and try and look for Kuchava. We'll have a little scratch for her and see if she's up in her favorite marula trees. There's literally no one else driving in the east today. It's just us. Everyone else, like Tristan said, has gone to the west where all the leopards are. So maybe there'll be one just lingering around here for us. I'm also still keeping an eye out to do some birding, but we haven't really seen much. I mean, I can hear them. They're going tweet, 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 tweet. Who can I hear? It sounds like a sunbird. I just don't know. Craig, how? Yeah, I'm just looking, because it sounds like they're in that tree over there. No, it's too high. Karen, I wish that was the reason as to why the wildlife was hiding away, is that they were sad, but I don't think so. Probably not a sunbird that I'm hearing. I'm just scanning, the trees, to see if I can find it, because there are a couple of birds making a noise, yeah? Can you see any, Craig? Now fly so I can see where you're sitting. The only thing I can see, and I don't think we're going to get on camera, is a dove. I think it's sitting too high up in the tree. Okay, well, that was a disaster. We shall move on then. Yay! Thank you, animals! Thank you. Watch them all fly. I don't know what little bird that is. We have a roadblock up ahead in the form of a branch. This could be interesting because I'm going to have to move it now. I'm going to have to do a rooski. Craig, there's a bird. Do you see it? It's flown away. Never mind. It's gone now. It has gone, yeah. It just sat down for 2 seconds and then flew away. I have to move the branch. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Let us see. Oh, it's a big branch. It's too high up for me to do the pull with the vehicle, which is the easiest, but this could give the elephants. It's not actually that heavy. Ah! Craig, you might have to help me. No, it's not working. Stop smiling and help me, Craig. Craig is just now sitting there. I don't know how I'm going to break it, but it does. It needs to come off. Craig! No, come and help. This doesn't want to work. Do you think I can wedge it behind something? Of course there's no tree here to wedge it behind. Okay, I don't care anymore. I tried. Whatever. Dirty for nothing. Well, that was embarrassing. Craig, did you enjoy that? Thank you so much for helping me. Craig says it was great. I'm going to do this. The branch whip, Craig. Yeah, I'll drive you straight through there. Get Craig with the branches. One. Where's that buffalo thorn? Let's see one that's encroaching over the road. I'm exhausted now. Okay, well that was a fail. I suppose I just could have gone around it. Anyways, there's no signs of leopards here. It also doesn't look like anyone has driven in this area for quite some time. If you see leopard tracks, it's nice to drive on the busy gate. How old they are, but some of these roads that have okay. Shedulu, not Shedulu, Sibuya just yet. We'll search for her orchid. Tristan, who has a leopard. Hopefully she doesn't give him the slip.
Well, it seems like Taylor's got some gremlins and some tree issues and some problems, and so you're with us now. Hopefully her morning gets better. She's welcome to come to Tlalamba if she wants to see a leopard before she goes on a break. I say a break because I'm sure she'll be back at some point. She says that she's not sure when, but we'll just make sure that she comes back at some point in time. You know that she misses us too much not to, but she's welcome to come here if she would like to, just to spend her last morning. I'm happy to make some space for her to be able to do so. Oh, there she is there. Where are you off to, girl? Are you going to go climb on that nice branch for us? Hopefully that's the case. I don't know what happened. She was quite sleepy, and then all of a sudden the wind picked up a little bit and started to blow a little harder, and she just kind of went quite wide-eyed and then got up and started moving. So I don't know if maybe she's picked up the scent of something, but I mean, you can see here, this is how difficult it is to spot a leopard at the moment. She's right in front of us, but look at that. It is almost invisible to see her. She's only kind of visible when she moves a little bit and that tail comes up, but there she is there, kind of slinking through the grass. In fact, it's even for Senzo, it's almost impossible to kind of find her. You've got to look for the grass moving. And so that's why I say at the moment, spotting leopards, unless they're up on something, is near impossible. And so you've got to have a bit of luck on your side if you are wanting to spot them. Now she's got a little tail up, which is good. She's being shouted at by somebody. Okay, cool. So apparently Taylor's quite far away. She says she'll call me on the radio when she gets a bit closer if she's going to come this side. Well, like I say, she's more than welcome to. I know it's, she doesn't know when she's going to be back. I get to at least be here for the foreseeable future and get to kind of look for these guys every day. So, if she wants to come and have one last look at little Columba before she goes, then she's more than welcome to do so. Right, now I've got to try and keep up with this little princess, though. She's going through a little drainage line now in quite a tricky area, so who knows if we're even going to be able to follow her to be able to keep up with where she's going. Where did she go, Sens? Oh, there she is there. I'm going to try and find a place where I can cross this drainage, which should be here, should be okay. It's amazing how timing is everything. If you came here now, we would never even know that she crossed the road, because the road is so hard where she went over. It would have been impossible to have seen her tracks, 1. 2, we wouldn't have even been able to spot her either. So it would have been a very tricky thing to find this little cat. But luckily, we managed to kind of spot her while she was still fairly visible. There she is there. Amazing how quickly they can cover this ground that takes us so long. Claire, no, you don't have to be a biologist to guide. Guiding qualification is not a biology qualification. You can do it independently, and you can do just guiding related work. And not have to worry about biology in any way whatsoever. Shape or form. Now I'm going to have to try and get ourselves out of this a little bit, which is going to be fairly tricky because we're on 2 wheels. So, come on, car. There we go. There we go. So what you do need, though, is to have some sort of 4x4 training if you are to be a guide, because sometimes the driving gets a little bit on the rough side. But anyway, we managed to make it through. It's probably a little bit steep. 12 o'clock. Oh, there you are. Hello, girl. Did you wait for us? Thank you. So she just stopped in front of us to wait a little bit, which is nice. I thought she'd gone a little bit further on from where we are now. Maybe she thought we were stuck and she was going to come and give us a little push. But there she's sitting, ever so regally. So no, you don't need a biology degree to be a guide. It helps, obviously, if you do have that. But I don't have a biology degree. In fact, I don't know if any of our older presenters have got. I'm just trying to think. I think Steve's the only one with he's got an ecological degree, not a biology degree. And then obviously we've got the marine biology side of things with our Dive Live presenters that are now SafariLive presenters, and Trishala as well. So it's not a requirement. Many guides out here in South Africa don't have biology qualifications, but they'll go and train specifically for guiding. I'm just going to go forward a bit because I think she might have spotted something, so I just want to see what she potentially sees. I wonder if maybe there's not a nyala or a little bushbuck or something that's moving around. Vegas, how much does Columba weigh right now? Oof. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I would say probably, if I had to guess, she's still lighter. I mean, she's not fully grown yet by any stretch of the imagination. So, to me, probably 60, 70 pounds, maybe a little bit more. But I would say about that, 60 pounds would be my rough guess. She's still got to fill out a little bit and get a little larger. But look at that, she's so pretty. She's got a beautiful golden coat, this little cat. And when the sun shines on her, she often does glisten. Very kind of gold color, which is typical. I mean, her mom is the same. Her mom has also got a deep, rich color to her coat. as well. They're not very light coloured animals like you get in some areas. So very, very pretty. And there goes the little strut that all leopards have, that little kind of model walk, as though they're walking in high heels with her little white tail and a little shake. Excellent. Right, so let's try and keep up with her, because where she's going is going to be very tricky. Jay, she is so sleek looking now, so she's kind of crossing over now from cub to adult, and so they go through this phase where they kind of change, their body type changes a little bit. They sort of get a little bulkier as they become older, and they start to then have cubs and the likes. Although there are some leopards that stay quite slim. Sakani was one that she had a very kind of petite, sort of slim, if you want to call it, figure. Whereas, you know, some of the others are not quite like that. Where did she go now, Sens? And where are we going to go? Did she go down here? You see her? Well, she must have gone down this way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through here, Sens, with this roof on. With the roof, you reckon? Let's see, this should be quite interesting. No, we're not going to be able to. Oh, there she is. Hello, girl. You can see her kind of moving through. Right, we're going to try and negotiate this area, try and figure out how I'm going to get out of here, or how I'm going to get through here. In the meantime, though, let's send you across to Lauren in the Mara.
Oh, it is not easy following wildlife, let me tell you that. I feel Tristan's pain. I'm currently stopped at the minute trying to figure out exactly how to get to our beautiful Busara. We have a location, we're just not entirely sure which route to take. So we're currently trying to figure that out. That's as much of an update as I have for you right now. I really, really, really would love to see her. This is the exact spot, exact location we left her last night when we were having all these wonderful tech problems. This is it. So she's still in the vicinity, but she's a little bit higher up. So we're just trying to calculate exactly how far we can go in terms of signal just now. So this is why we are stopped in this position. The reason I want to see her is because I know many of you are worried about her also. And we're getting a great view here for you, but guys, we're quite high up, so you can see right across the plains here. And yes, I'm just worried about her myself, which is exactly why. James is asking, have I spoke to the Cheetah Project? Yes, I'm in contact with Elena on a daily basis, just giving her updates on Busara's location and what she's up to. Elena is actually based quite far away. I think it's quite hard for people to visualize the vast distances of the Mara. It's really not easy to get from A to B. So if you get a location of a sighting that's really far away, it can take quite some time to get there. So Elena lives quite far away from us, but I've been keeping her updated on Busara's movements and how I personally feel about her health and her many failed attempts at trying to hunt, which is obviously not working for her. So that's exactly why I want to catch up with her. I really, really, really want to know how she's doing, but I'm just not 100% sure how we're going to do this. We raced all the way here and then we realised, oh, okay, do we continue on? There was some traffic coming, so I am just going to move to the side. I'm always in the middle of the road. It's really not ideal. Oh, let's reverse. Or do we turn back around again? I'm just going to move off to the side. So yeah, I'm afraid I'm not going anywhere at the minute. That is my update on Cheetah, and we need to do some figuring out. I know we're running against the clock here, which is not ideal. The race against time before the end of the drive. Karen's asking about the cheetah's health. Okay, so just to give you a little update, when I first saw Busara, I was the first to actually find her and identify her. We noticed a very small wound. I'm actually going to bring up my camera because I've got a picture of it, so you'll need to bear with me until I locate it. Okay, it's somewhere on my camera, and I'll actually be able to show you the exact wound. Now, it doesn't look much, and I think you all actually will agree with me. It doesn't look really, really bad compared to the injuries that we have actually seen on animals. Okay, tell me, Guy, are you able to get that? Alrighty, there we go. So if you just see here, there's a tiny injury. There we go, I'm zooming in. And it really doesn't look much. It looks like it's probably from a horn, but actually when you go inside there is maggots, and it does look a little bit deeper than it first appears. Now to me, initially, this would not worry me when looking at a cat. These cats, especially lions, cheetahs, leopards, are really resilient, as we've seen over the past few years from the inkahumas and all sorts of injuries. However, she's just not walking well. So I'm wondering whether this has been potentially a horn of some sort. And although it has penetrated the skin, possibly not that deep, I wonder if it's hurt the bone or the muscle. She's just not I wouldn't say she's limping. She's just not entirely walking well, and it's worrying. And we have watched her over the past 3 to 4 days now, and she has missed an incredible amount of hunts. She's hungry, she's very skinny, and she keeps going for Thompson's gazelles. That must be her favourite, and she keeps missing them. We've caught about 3 of them. I know Pat saw her miss a few. I know other rangers are just watching her go for the chase. And she's fast, but she's just not catching them. It's just slightly worrying. She will need to feed at some point. I didn't get the name, but someone is asking what Busara means. And it does mean wise one, wisdom. It's a beautiful name, actually, Busara. Busara. I really like it. I think it's beautiful. And she's just wriggled her way into my heart. And yes, I just really want to know how she's doing. But at the minute, we're kind of stuck here. I'm sorry. We need to figure out exactly how we're going to get to her, and if it is possible before the end of the drive, which I hope it is, because I know you would love a last-minute cheetah. Not a last-minute leopard this time, a last-minute cheetah. But I'm just not sure how we're going to get to her from here. So I'm not going anywhere until we figure it out. We're just in a tricky spot. She seems to have moved up the hill, and she seems to potentially maybe be in some villages. Agent's asking, could it be a bullet hole? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But it does look like that. It's very, very small. It's a very small injury. And at first, it just doesn't look that bad. But when you see the way she's walking, that's when you think, And it might not, I could be wrong. This is just speculation. It could be affecting her hunting, and it also could not be affecting her hunting. Cheetahs are fast. They're so agile. They're so flexible. They're very, very good hunters. For many reasons, they have many unique specializations which make them so. But just watching her struggle over the past few days has been really hard. Really, really hard. Because although hunts are difficult to watch, and I don't want to see anything happening to any Thompson's gazelles, of course, Busara needs to feed. So it's a tricky one, and I just hope maybe last night, maybe she got something. I can't answer that until I see her, I'm afraid. But if she's still looking as skinny as she did yesterday, then it is a little bit worrying. That's been about 3 or 4 days now, and she is in unknown territory. She has crossed over from the riverside, where she's been based for about 3 years, and now she's in the triangle. So there's a lot of factors to consider this. So while I figure out my wonderful dilemma, let's send you back down to Tristan and see what he's up to.
Well, good luck, Lauren. Hopefully you figure out where you want to be. We've managed to keep up with Clalamba somehow. It's so difficult. We keep losing her in the grass, so we try and watch her for a bit, and then all of a sudden she gets into this long grass, and it's this game of where's she gone. You kind of got to stop and look and wait for the grass to move, but she's just off to our left-hand side, kind of just moving through that little open patch now, and then she'll get into a longer section again, and it becomes really tricky to spot her. It's amazing how this camouflage works on these cats. You'd think in open grass like this you wouldn't be able to kind of miss them, but you do very, very easily. So I'll hopefully get this right and keep up with her. Taylor's going to come and move into the area as well, so she'll be able to at least give us a semblance of a hand in case. Also, like I said, it'd be nice for Taylor just to have a nice one last sighting of the little princess before Taylor ends up going on leave. Now, where's she gone? You can see what I mean about the length of the grass now. I mean, even just where we're driving, the front of the car is kind of disappearing. in this long grass. Yeah, Tani, just come to Mamba Loop, Mamba Junction. Yeah, A-firm. Copy, yeah. Just getting onto Mamba now. She crossed the road already. Right, there she is. Now, copy, yeah. So there we go, she's crossed over the road. Taylor's coming this way, which is good. So she's heading where, Sens, remember we came to look for her here the other day. Exactly, there she is, she's right here. So we're just going to stop pretty much here and then just tell Taylor to go kind of in front of where we are, because I'm not going to be able to actually follow her much further than this. We'll stop and turn off because that hopefully will slow her down a little bit. No, she's going to carry on going. There's a big stump in front of us that is going to stop us from really going anywhere. Oh, since I've got a branch sticking out of my shin. That's not ideal. I'll get rid of that fairly shortly. Must have hit one of the sharper trees at some point. She's going to be tricky to follow. Just let Taylor know. Taylor, if you can come in somewhere here, then you should be getting her. She's mobile, kind of east. Shelley, it's a good question. I mean, we've something that I was thinking about earlier. I'm not sure if she does still see her mom much. I don't know. That's the thing, is when I was last year, she did. Oh, she's seen Taylor and she's like jumping for joy, running towards Taylor's car. Hi, Taylor. This is what little Kalamba is saying. Or I think maybe she's actually stalking something. Could probably be more along the lines of what's going on. She was up on a tree and then she went bounding off. There you see, she's bounding around. Yeah, T, if you can come round towards me, around that tree towards me, she's heading in your direction through these bush willows. She maybe's got a little scrub hare or a dwarf mongoose. There's lots of dwarf mongoose in this area that she could potentially be hunting. But in terms of her and Tundi, I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen her with Tundi in this week. It's not to say that they don't still come together every now and then, but if the frequency of her, or the sightings of her, is much more, and with Tundi far less. So, oh, she's got something. She's got something. She's managed to make a kill. She's killed something. Hold on, let's get in here. What did she grab? I think she maybe got a diker. Let's just try and get in. Yes, she got a diker. Well done, girl. Look at that. She managed to grab a diker. Well done. Now, that was a quick, short, sharp little hunt, and she's managed to. Now, if you're a sensitive viewer, it's probably a good time to look away, because she's got it by the back of the neck at this stage, and she's going to have to kill it quite quickly, because unfortunately the noise that it made might attract things like hyenas. But like I say, if you are sensitive, look away. Is not a good thing to see when an animal struggles like this. It's a big diker that she's managed to bring down. Well done, girl. Now, it's always sad when you see an animal lose its life, but for us to see a young leopard like this develop and grow and manage to actually get herself a kill like this means that she's growing up, and she's now no longer dependent on mom to get her food. And we were talking about the fact that she needs to find her own food and to be able to kind of hunt and grow. And if she can kill this size prey already at this sort of stage, she's doing amazingly well. But that was really efficient, because I didn't see anything. We just stopped and she managed to kind of grab it. The problem is, as you can see, she's got it from the back of the neck, which is not ideal. She needs to be able to get it on that front side to be able to kind of close everything off. But probably what she's trying to do is almost sever the spine at this stage and disable this animal. But oh, shame. It's always horrible when you see an animal suffering or you know, being killed. It's not a pleasant thing. But remember, our leopards do need to eat, and as a young leopard she needs to grow, and to be able to, like I say, kill an adult diker like this is incredibly special. I just need to give Rexon an update because he's just gotten mobile. Yeah, Rex, there's just Kalamba. She's just killed a diker now off Mamba Road, close to Mamba Loop, the eastern side of Mamba Loop, on the northern side of the road. That's the only visual for this morning. crazy sighting. How's that? Out of nowhere. So just as kind of Taylor was pulling in, she managed to kind of move through and bound through. GZ, just like her mother, you're right. She managed to somehow, I don't know, figure a way through all of that and quick and opportunistic. I'm sad we didn't get to see much of it. I mean, with this grass and the way things are, it's quite tricky. But, I just saw her jump over the grass and bound. And then next thing, I heard the duiker squeal and she managed to grab it. And obviously, she's now going to be in the process of killing it. But she's going to have to try and change that hold at some point. She's still got it pinned down. And so eventually she'll get it right. This is all good practice for her in the way that she's got to try and kill an animal and subdue it. The good thing is there's actually a nice tree very close by. There's two big marulas that are close by that if she needs to hoist it, she can. And this is a meal that she will be able to hoist at some point in time. Well, that came out of nowhere, didn't it? How epic. Very, 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 very cool to see that she's actually hunting on her own and doing just fine. Kaylee, she did have a duiker in a tree a week ago. I think it was a week ago. And she had one a few weeks ago too, that Rexon saw her kill. But it's the first time that we here as presenters and SafariLive have witnessed her actually grab an animal and see how she dispatches those animals. And so, it's a big moment for us. I mean, while others have seen it, and while we know she's getting food, like I said earlier, she gets left for so long that there's no way she's not feeding. It's nice just to be able to see that how she goes about it, and that she's developing into this kind of little lethal hunter that leopards are. So, she has had meals before. I'm not saying this is her first kill that she's made. It's the first time that we as SafariLive, as far as I know, I might be wrong, maybe while I was on leave somebody saw it, but it's the first time that we've seen her kill anything of significance. Shame she's still struggling. Come on, girl, you need to just reposition the way that you're biting there. She'll get it right eventually. It looks like she's come around a lot more now and kind of gotten towards the front side of that neck. Wow. Kalamba, you're all grown up. No longer a cub at this stage. So Daniel say, congratulations, Kalamba. Well, it's not over yet. The way that she's gripped this duiker, it could still theoretically get out and squirm away. She needs to, you see, it's not dead, so she needs to change the position that she's got it. She needs to somehow grab it in the front and grab it kind of by the throat area, and that will subdue this animal much faster than what she's done now. But let's see. Let's see how we go. She might reposition once the duiker loses a bit of energy. That struggling that it's doing is only going to be sapping every last little bit of energy out of it. And so eventually you'll find that she'll, that duiker will start to bleed a little bit. You can see the blood's coming from the neck area, and she'll be able to eventually kind of grab it on that throat and dispatch it properly. But like I say, it's always a sad thing to watch a predator hunt in many respects. It's another animal that's losing its life, which is not nice. But predators have to eat. They're a part of the ecosystem, and things like duikers and steenbok and the likes, if there was no predators, their numbers would be out of control, and they would then create a problem for themselves in terms of not being able to find enough food. And you need predators at some point to be able to just limit the numbers in terms of prey animals. And so as much as it's difficult to watch, it's a necessary evil in many respects. And if we often marvel at the beauty of our leopards and lions, and we want to see these cats. This is the sort of darker side of it. Ramit, we don't know what the largest prey she's had. From what we found, the largest that she's managed to sort of subdue and kill is a duiker. We might be wrong. She might have killed something like an impala before. She was once found with a dead impala on Torchwood the one day, but we were never sure if she was actually the one that managed to kill it, or if it was a situation where it was died of a complication of trying to give birth or something like that. She eventually lost it to hyenas because it was just too heavy for her to move around. But we weren't sure whose it actually was. So, whether or not it just died of natural causes or she killed it. But what we know for sure, confirmed, is a duiker of this size. She killed one the other day, and she's now killed another one again. But well done, girl. I'm very impressed with her because, you know, it's difficult to do. To go off on your own and to hunt for yourself as a young leopard, and so all of these kind of things are going to only stand her in good stead for going forward. Dina K, will she hang around Juma? She should do. I mean, theoretically, you know, moms generally give a little portion of their territory to their daughters to start out, and if we look at Kuchava, that's an example of how Kuchava kind of ended up settling down in this sort of area. I mean, she's on Chitwa, but maybe little Tlalamba will get the southern section of Juma. Who knows? It seems like Tandi's moving a lot in that north eastern area and not so much down southeast. But time will tell. I mean, it's always tricky to know where these leopards will settle or what's going on, and she's got a long way to go until she can become an adult female leopard that becomes territorially dominant. All right, my girl, well done. Shame. Seems like she's got a bit of a better hold on that neck now. It's almost like she's shifted that bottom jaw around. So hopefully that's going to help in being able to kind of just end this quicker so that we don't get a situation where this poor animal struggles much more. Whew. Well, that went from a rather relaxed morning to pretty chaotic pretty quickly. It's not doesn't look like a fully grown duiker. It might be although maybe an adult female. That's there. It was obviously just resting and sleeping, and she must have seen it from the tree itself and then decided to kind of run in and just grab it, and that duiker had no idea she was even coming. That's one advantage of the summer grasses. While it's difficult for them to often spot prey, when they start stalking, it's very difficult for the prey to actually start to see them. So, you know, it's a crazy kind of game that these guys play. In some respects, it helps antelope in that it's easier to hide young and those kind of things, but in other respects, they don't see things coming. And she was lightningly fast onto this duiker. It was amazing because she was just standing there, and I thought she was stalking something, but I wasn't 100% sure. She wasn't really in massive stalk mode, and then she managed to kind of grab it quite quickly. Now she's gone deeper in there. Oh, okay, well, we're not going to get much more of a view. I'm going to have to try and find another way. In the meantime, though, let's send you across to Taylor, who was here. I don't know where she's gone. She must come back and carry on with the sighting, and I'll happily move out for her, but let's go across to her.
Hello again, everybody. I just need to warn... Who's here? This is Aubrey. Not Aubrey. Hey!
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Tlalamba's just here.
Okay.
She's bumbering Mpunzi.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We just wanted to let the guys know that there's obviously a leopard up there, and Tlalamba is killing it. Please excuse my horrific attempt at Shangaan. I cannot speak Shangaan, but I also don't know if everyone can understand English. Just do it in a way that everyone can understand. Okay, so doing a bit of bush clearing at the moment. That's nice. Getting rid of a couple of annoying plants and things like that are encroaching on the road. We're going to climb up this way. Whee! And we're going to go down again. Okay, my goodness, all the excitement here from myself and Maurice, because I don't think you'll see us all again. It's been so much fun. We'll catch you guys again soon. Say bye. He's so rude. Off you go to Lauren now, who's got the fastest running cat out there. How cool.
We found her. I am exhausted. I almost killed Bungay, but we found her. We found Busara. You're not going to believe where she is. I don't even know if I want to tell you exactly where she is, but she's right next to our camp. So we obviously drove around like crazy people. I think lots of people were wondering what is wrong with me, but we made it, and here she is in the shade, nestled away. Now, unfortunately, from this angle, I'm not able to see, one, the injury, or two, how skinny she's looking. So I'm not able to make any judgment call at the minute, but I'm sure you're all very happy with the last minute cheetah. So I did it. I'm sorry I'm out of breath. It was a very, very, very hectic journey, but this is Busara. We have been following her. We finally caught up with her. And even once we end the show, I'm still not going to leave her. We're going to stay with this beautiful spotted cat and hope that we can actually see her make a successful hunt. Because as you know, as I've already mentioned, it's been a very, very, very tough time for this cat. So we don't know what happened to her from, let's say, last night to this morning. So she may have had some success. She's definitely looking alert. I do not know why she keeps travelling in the most strange... We found her at the airstrip the other day, right next to where the plane lands. And right now she's right next to our camp, exactly where the planes land. So just before we do disappear, we're just going to give you another reminder to send all those wonderful videos that you have of your pets. And I'm sure you all do have them reacting to SafariLive. Come on, we want to see them. I haven't actually showed my beagle SafariLive yet. I'm not really sure she would react much. If I opened the biscuit tin, she would. But to SafariLive, I'm not sure she would. But anyway, we want to see your videos. So please, 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 please send them in. There is my reminder for today. So, Busara, you had us running around in circles, but it really, really is good to see her. It's also good to see her nestled in the shade. You know, the other day we spent 3 hours with her under the boiling hot sun and she was completely exposed. She wasn't in the shade. She was just lying in the boiling hot sun. So it is very, very good to see her, at least in the shade and taking some rest. So I will keep you posted, as I always do, on her movements. And hopefully it's a little bit more positive today. I have seen that many of you are asking about the vet, and I've done my part and reached out to people in the protocol. I don't think the injury is too severe for a vet, but I have obviously reported it to the right people. Please do not worry. She does seem fine for now, and of course we are going to keep our eyes on her. And once again, everybody, thank you for an awesome sunrise bumble. I think it's been very, very successful on all accounts. So thank you for all your questions and comments. And please do join us again this afternoon for the Sunset Safari. See you then.
Do your pets respond to SafariLive? Post videos of your pets watching SafariLive. Shoot your clips horizontally and be sure to capture good quality sound. Upload your videos onto the SafariLive Facebook page or Twitter with #SafariLivePets.